And we are live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Monday call that we do every other Monday. This is MOA group coaching that we do every other Monday. So a couple things I want to let you guys know. Number one, we'll go as long as you want. We'll answer as many questions as you want. Usually there's going to be somewhere between 200 and 400 people watching on YouTube live. And then we're going to have something like 100 people on here. Now, usually I get more people on the beginning of the call, but Instagram decided, and we are live. Well, decided it was a great idea to go ahead and suspend me from going live on Instagram. I don't know why. I'm sure it's something to do with recently I've been pissing a lot of people off and they start mass reporting me. And that's been one of the issues that I've had recently. Probably some astrologers got together and started mass reporting me. So a couple of things I want to let you guys know. First off, that Access Vegas that we had a couple of days ago or last Thursday, we did that. Obviously, there was that girl who was screaming for the majority of the time. Since then, she went and checked the comments and she saw that almost 100% of the comments were very negative towards her. And so she started making videos about me and started making videos about Access Vegas. And she's been doing so for the last 5 days. I said the word Kingsland when I meant to say Swaziland one time because it's called the Kingdom of Swaziland. It's called the Kingdom of Eswatini. That's actually the name of it, but I called it Kingsland instead of Swaziland. She's been making nonstop videos about how stupid I am because I accidentally said one thing was one thing instead of another. It's like you saying that Butte, Montana is in Colorado. I'm not going to call you an idiot. There's states that are near each other. I get it, but like as long as you admit that you made a mistake, it's not really that big of a deal. And she's basically stating that because I said that Swaziland was called Kingsland, therefore astrology is real. So I'm excited. Hopefully she'll come on here in a little bit and we'll have her. I'm afraid to give out her IG because I really don't want to get into a thing where you guys like start going after her for some of the stuff she said. She still has the right to be wrong. She has the right to have her opinion and be incorrect about what she's saying. Only a Libra would say, yeah, if you guys want to look up her IG, you can. It actually is in the description, but I'm not going to like go just give it to you guys now because I definitely don't want you to attack her. Obviously, I didn't give out Primal's YouTube when I posted that video because I don't want to give Primal any credit. And so, also because I don't want you guys going off just ad hominem attacking him either. If he really is, if Primal Status Elevated, who we had on 2 weeks ago, we debated, if he really is a refugee, then he's probably saying the things he needs to say for some kind of coping mechanism for some of the, trauma and the stress that he's going to. Apparently he was a resident of Ukraine and had to be displaced once the Russians invaded. So, that if that's the case, I really don't want to beat that guy up too much. And the same thing, like I'm a little worried with Gia, like if she comes on here and then no one agrees with her here, that she may have like a mental breakdown. I don't know. I still can't believe she's still making videos about me like that. It's one of the craziest things. And no one's watching them, which is not no one. Very few people are watching them. All right. So here's the first thing I want you guys to do until we have some of those people jump on here. I want everyone to go ahead and raise your hand, especially if you're new. Now, this is your first time if you're not in Men of Action, put a 1 in the chat. If you're not in Men of Action and you're watching this, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. Okay, Fasada, Raj. Oh, that's hilarious. If you're not in Men of Action, beautiful. If you guys are from the Telegram group, because there was a couple of guys from the Telegram group that wanted to debate me on a couple of things, just put the word Telegram or the letter T in the chat. Put the letter T in the chat. Yeah, we're live on YouTube right now, Joe. We're live on YouTube right now. If you guys want to watch. Here we go. Yeah, shout out to all the people watching us on YouTube right now. Awesome. Yeah, Joe, if you want to find me on YouTube, just go look up Michael Sartain on YouTube and then click the live button on my channel and you'll see it right there. Okay. Okay, Gabrielle, you're from Telegram. Gabrielle, hold on. Gabrielle, what was the thing you wanted? What was the thing you wanted to debate? No, you weren't from Telegram, Gab. Hold on. Who was here from Telegram? Tristan Darshan's from Telegram. No, hot cocoa. All right, guys, hold on. Let's do this real quick. If you're here from Telegram and you wanted to argue on behalf of Cold Approach over Social Circle, could you go ahead and just start talking? Unmute yourself.
Yo, hey man,
go ahead, hot cocoa. What's going on, man?
Yeah, I'm one of the leaders for Game New York, and I'd love to debate the topic since I have pretty strong opinions. I think it'd be dope.
Okay, beautiful, guys. All right, awesome. Let's get gentlemen, all the rest of you in there. Make sure we keep this respectful. Hot cocoa, what is your thing? Do you think it's 50-50? Do you think Cold Approach is everything? Do you think Social Circle is overrated? Like, what do you believe about this?
It's just that I think I've had my fair experience with everything. And I'm still a fairly strong believer in like online game, dating apps, and actually going out to clubs, night game, that sort of thing. I think Social Circle is great for many guys, but it's just extremely high effort and high energy and high investment when you could get similar results with actually improving your looks, improving your mindset, improving your game, if that makes sense.
Does anybody here have anything they want to say about that? Like those of you who have tried this, do you think that it's more effort doing cold approach or less effort doing cold approach? What do you guys think?
More effort.
More effort doing cold approach. Way more.
Hot Coco. I think one of the things you might not understand because I've done both. Obviously, I was an approach coach for Mystery and Matador. It's way less effort to do cold approach, to do a social circle. So circle takes way less time. Because the thing is, like, so for instance, I'll give you an example. When I recruit for this bikini competition next month, it's going to take me less than 45 minutes and I'm going to have 200 girls show up. Do you see how that's less effort?
I mean, the thing is, like, me and some other guys, like, we pull up to new cities, we open Tinder, we have hundreds of matches. We could get the same results on dating apps.
So you're getting this, hold on, you're getting the same results from dating apps. So do you have any videos where you're getting the same results from dating apps?
Yeah, I could show the number of matches I get on Tinder and Bumble and whatnot.
No, it's not the matches, bro. I don't really care about the matches. So we're talking about in real life stuff. So you're telling me that, like, in real life from Tinder and dating apps, this is what's going on? Really?
I get dates, not this exactly, not parties, but I get one.
Right, but my point is, you said you could get, so we've already said you're spending more time doing cold approach. We don't spend as much time, and you said you're getting the same results, but I don't, like, that's the thing. Like, I don't, because if you want to show me, I would like to see it, but like, you're saying that you're getting a lifestyle like that's like this, and I'm just having a hard time because I know every single instructor in that space, in the pickup space, and they don't do this at all. Not even 1% of this.
I mean, if you're including dating apps and cold approach, I would say it's less effort. I mean, cold approach itself is fairly decent effort, but if you're including dating apps and online game, I would say it's fairly low effort.
Okay, so here's another thing, Coco. So we've asked a lot of these girls if they're on dating apps, and these girls, none of them are on dating apps. What I found is that it's less attractive girls that are on dating apps. You're telling me that girls that look like this are frequently, they need to go on dating apps. Is that what you think?
I mean, I don't know about specific instances, but there are definitely hot girls on dating apps. I mean, with millions of users, even if you said few girls are hot on Tinder and Bumble, there's definitely hot girls on Tinder and Bumble.
So I've talked to several girls and they're like, why do you have a Tinder or Bumble? And most of them say it's because they're trying to get you to subscribe to their OnlyFans. Very few girls that are really attractive stay on there for a long. Again, this is just me asking, 1,1500 girls about this. And then also, I was on Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. I was out here in these streets. I lived in Las Vegas, and I'm telling you, like, it was 500 or 600 left swipes for 1 or 2 right swipes, because the women on there are far like just not super attractive. That's just what I've seen. It seemed like that's a lot more work than what I do.
I mean, yeah, I've heard like very different views on this from guys, but it seems like for few guys who do have an optimized male profile, dating apps do work. But I agree with you. It's not for everyone.
I also would consider dating apps to be part of social media, which is social circle. I don't know that that's cold approach. Dating apps would be like literally, because the problem with dating apps is that you're literally scaling your ability to meet women, which by definition is social circle. Right?
If you put it that way, but I mean, it's essentially strangers on your app, right? You don't actually
hold on. So that's a great point. So guys, you want to tell Hot Coco the amount of engagement I get from people who don't follow me?
90%.
At least 90%.
Coco, 91% of my engagement is from people who don't follow me. So for my Instagram, that's also strangers. Those girls that you see on those things, most of them, I don't know them. I meet them for the first time at one of these events that we throw pretty easily. I don't pay any money for these events either. I teach you how to you don't have to pay anything for them.
No, I agree. Yeah, Instagram definitely has a social component to it. Like, if you're clearly showing a lot of social value on your Instagram, but I'm saying just pure Tinder and Bumble still does work for many guys if they're willing to put in the effort.
I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying it seems like it's the ironic thing is I think that takes more effort. Like, I was on Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. That is like time consuming every day to all those left swipes, especially if you like really attractive women. I find that Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge is a lot of left swiping going on. Right. But if you have an influencer event where only the biggest influencers can come to it and they're all really attractive and they walk the red carpet or they're really pretty, it's like you're at an event where it's 7 girls to every guy and they're all really attractive. You see how that might be an advantage, just like Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge?
Right, but how many of those guys at these events actually get real results, though? How many of them are actually
awesome, guys? Do you guys want to wrap up? They're
Hey,
on
Mike.
here. Yeah.
Hey Mike, can I add on to this? So
Let's go ahead,
I think
Nate.
I think I have the record for anyone I've talked to for how many matches I've gotten. So there was this one weekend we had a social media boot camp in New York, and this is not me bragging. I'm just getting to the point soon, but I think I got like 200 matches in about a weekend. And that turned into about, I don't know, like just a handful of dates that I couldn't go on. But like doing the thing you're saying just doesn't make sense because, first of all, the type of girls you want to date most likely aren't on dating apps for the reasons Michael has outlined. And what happens when you actually establish a social circle is that you're meeting people through the people you already know. So you don't have to do this, like basically your dating app becomes your social circle, and there's no better way to meet girls than through other girls. So it just, I just don't see why you say this. Like, dating apps work. I'm not saying they don't work, but it's just not the quality of results you want in terms of the girls. And also, like, it just works. Like, everything's better when you actually are able to be in a social circle with girls actually connecting you with other girls.
Wait, say that again. You're saying you had a top male profile with 200 matches on a weekend and it still didn't work?
No. I'm not saying it
Right,
doesn't work.
It's not saying it doesn't work. They're saying they aren't hot
it
enough. The
works.
girls weren't hot enough, dude. That's the point. We're trying to say the girls weren't hot enough. Okay, so
and every single one of my female friends that are influencers or whatever, like whatever you call high status, they've all tried dating apps for a short period of time. And they say like all these guys are weird, and then they delete it after a week or two. And this has happened to basically every girl I know.
I completely agree with you. It doesn't work for everyone, but with millions of users, you're bound to get hot girls and bound to have successful relationships.
Okay, so Coco, so let's just
because I want to show the other most
that math does not even work.
The same statistics. Yeah, like in what reality are the most high status girls that you want to date on dating apps? Like, I just don't get it. Maybe it's worked for you. Maybe you're dating like maybe you're the only person I ever met that went on dates with like hot influencers from dating apps. But
I don't know about status, but they're definitely beautiful women. You can meet on Tinder and Bumble.
Coco. So, but let's answer your question though, right? Because you asked, do these guys get results? So here's one of my clients here. You see him right here? Okay. Yeah. So because I don't want you to think it's just one. So here's another one of them right here. Can you see the screen? Can you see Anthony? Can you guys see Anthony DeRico's IG? Hold on, give me 1 second.
I can see you.
Can you see Anthony DeRico's IG right here? Yeah. So, and he's a little bit vertically challenged here, Coco. Okay. So like, by the way, I've got 50 more, and we're gonna keep going down. So just to show you, like, this is not a function of like it's just working for me. This works for everyone who puts the effort in my course gets these results. Everyone who puts the effort in my course gets these results. Okay. Because this is the idea of the things we're teaching is these aren't anecdotal ideas that I came up with. These are based on the concepts of make choice copying and pre-selection. Hey guys, you need to mute yourselves, guys. Everyone, please mute yourselves. You guys are talking and we can hear you. Okay. We can just keep going forever. Like, honestly, like in fact, I would love for you to join the school server so you can see all these testimonials. These guys also use these same photos, and they use these same photos for their Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. They use the same ones. Okay. And it gets them better results because they do that. But the problem is Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge, if a girl is really attractive and she's on Tinder, Bumble, or Hinge, something went wrong. Something went desperately wrong. Again, he's going to Harvard. Coco, he's going to Harvard right now. And this is his lifestyle. So the idea that like, this is just going to work for a few people, that's not realistic. This is going to work for anyone who comes in here.
Also, Mike, can I say something on this? Can I say something on this too? Because obviously just living with you and then living in Boston, obviously I've tried like the dating apps here and there. The girls that you see, especially in the Boston content, are like better than the girls. Like, they're better than all the girls that are dating apps because they're not going to be on dating apps. So I feel like that has been my anecdotal experience, even just being in Boston.
Hey, we're having a hard time hearing you.
Just don't find
Tristan. Tristan, I don't know if you're on Bluetooth or whatever. We're getting every maybe third word.
Hold on, my connection's bad. I'll come back.
Okay, beautiful. Let's do that.
And also the number one dating app in the world right now is Instagram. And so like, what girl who has a good Instagram profile and is super hot is going to be like, I'm getting 5 DMs a day from guys on Instagram. And instead of like responding to these messages, I'm gonna go download Tinder. Like I've seen this happen, and then they did delete it in like 2 weeks, basically all the time. So
I don't know. I agree with you. I agree with you. I use Instagram a lot myself, and I just don't see why you would have. So I definitely agree. A lot of these guys seem like
because Coco, because of this, Coco, because of this. This is why. Because of this. And like you can't act like this isn't happening, because I'm going to keep showing you more and more and more and more and more.
No. I completely agree. Like the lifestyle seems amazing, but how many of them are actually doing it with them girls, right? Like, is it just parties?
Okay.
Right?
Coco.
That's a big thing, right? Like,
Coco, I will ask you a simple question. You said you liked going out, like in nightclubs. Let's say you had the choice between 2 nightclubs. One where the ratio is like 2 guys for every girl, and another club where the ratio is like 1 guy for like, let's say 5 or 7 girls.
No, I completely agree with you that this is like the better lifestyle. But question is, do you have to do the same thing? If you're good, if you work on your mindset, your looks, and your game.
Yeah, but the whole time out. Mindset and looks is not what most, not you specifically, Coco, but you understand most guys in pickup think it's a set of words that they're going to say to women to get them to come home. They're not working on themselves. I was involved in pickup back in 2003. They were not working on themselves. They were trying to say lines to get girls to come back to their creepy fucking basements. It was not, that is not what was going on. That is not what's going on. Now, the fact that you want to work on yourself, hey man, congratulations. I appreciate that. I think that's awesome that you want to work on yourself. I will tell you that a lot of guys in this arena don't want to work on themselves. That's not what they want to do. They hate women. They want to have sex with women. And they don't want to do any work on themselves in order to get better with women. That's way more guys in pickup than I see guys going to the gym. That's a social circle thing. That's a social circle thing. Like that's something we do in social circle. Like the idea of self-improvement, we have a book list. There's a 30-book list that you have to read in order to be in my program. So that's what we're doing. Like the concept of self-improvement is on our side. I know recently RSD has changed their whole profile to where now they're talking about like trauma release, et cetera, but like that is not what they were doing originally. Or before it was do this, pull this girl's head down, bark at this one chick, and then you'll get this girl. That is what they were doing. You see what I'm saying? That's why like I just think it's a little disingenuous to say, well, no, the better way to do it is this idea of like we're going to work on our game and work on our personality and work on our fitness. That has not traditionally been the cold approach way. That has been the social circle way. Does that make sense? We're the ones who have to work. We're the ones who are maxing on this side. Maxing is our priority. It's not been the priority. Like when I talk to pickup guys, it's like do this cool trick and then the girls come see you type shit. That is not looks maxing. That is not effort maxing. That's none of that. We're the ones on this side of the aisle. We're the ones in shape. Okay. We're the ones throwing the events. We're the ones with the book list. We're the ones increasing our ability to make money. We're the self-improvement side. The pickup guys are not the self-improvement side. They have never been now they're trying to come into that category, but they're not. That's a new thing for them because they were getting canceled. That's the reason why that's happening now. But initially that is not what was going on. So I appreciate, but the thing is, the way you've been responding to what I'm saying in a couple of ways is number one, you're telling us to get on dating apps, which is not cold approach. And number two, you're telling us to like work on like ourselves as people, which is not cold approach. You've made 2 social circle suggestions in order to espouse cold approach. Do you see what I'm saying? At least from my standpoint, that's what it looks like.
No, I completely agree with you. Just game is bullshit in 2023. But yeah, you got to work on yourselves. But I guess my point is more so, let's say you are a high value guy, right? You are good looking, you're confident, you have some game. It scales better, right? You can travel to a new city, you can go anywhere in the world, you could still meet girls at clubs, apps, whatnot. Social circle seems like it's very city centric. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you got to. Yeah,
you're very wrong. You're very wrong. I go to other cities, and because I get into any club I want. So, what city do you live in?
I live in New York, but I travel a lot.
Right. So who runs all the Tal Hakkasan nightclubs in New York? Do you know?
No, not really.
The owners is Jason Strauss and Noah Tepperberg. They're my friends through Social Circle. So you are going to have to figure out a ratio to get into the club. I just call the GM and they walk me in. Do you see the difference?
But how does that help you with pickup though? Like I still get
no, but because access, because here's the thing, Coco. So here's what you're doing, right? So you're doing this like normal thing that I see people conflate, where they think is we're really good at being around women but bad with game, which isn't true. I'm not teaching a dating course, first off. But the second thing is, if you were good with game, you don't think you'd do better at the Playboy Mansion than at fucking Bungalow in Santa Monica? Where do you think you'd have a better shot? If you game being equal, where do you think you'd have a better shot?
I mean, in terms of quality, I would say, yeah.
Okay. Like, no, by the way, I'm showing you a video of women throwing my birthday party for me. I didn't throw this. They threw this for me. Okay. That's what I'm showing you. They went out of their way to throw this for me. So let's just say if a guy, my point is what I do, you could have terrible game and you're going to have incredible luck with women. And we don't have terrible game. And the reason why we don't have terrible game is because we're surrounded by women all the time. We understand how to deal with them. That's why we do that. We have a book list that very specifically deals with evidence-based approaches to attraction. That's what Dr. David Buss, Cindy Meston, Stephen Stewart Williams, and Joffrey Wilson, those evolutionary psychologists, those are the things they deal with. That's why these results are so outrageous, because we don't do things off anecdotal message boards. We do them based on scientific evidence. Does that make sense?
No, completely. But how high intensity is it? Like how much time, money, effort are guys putting into creating this lifestyle?
Less than you do cold approach. Less than you do cold approach. That's the point. Other than the books are a little intensive. We actually make you read books. But like, ask yourself, Coco, why is Bulgarian coming to my birthday party? Ask yourself that question.
I mean, status, right? Social media.
But somehow you're confusing that somehow status isn't the same thing as like creating attraction. It is. It's like the most important part of it. And so we teach you this easy way to like create status, and the status grows for you like money in a bank account. And then you have to do progressively less work over time instead of doing more work. You see what I'm saying?
No, and yeah, completely. You definitely have status, right? But do your students also have that status?
I just showed you my IG. Do you want me to go back and like show you more IG profiles? Like we can do 50, Coco. We can do 50 more. Do you want me to? No,
it definitely looks like you have an amazing lifestyle, but is that the same as a high status?
Right. But wait, Mike. Can I ask a question on this? Just a mathematical question. So if your girls to meet as many hot girls as possible, right? And if I take one guy does Tinder and one guy does Soul Circle. If you are just like have more at bats, if you're just around more hot girls, isn't that better for you? Like, how else could that fail you?
I mean, it's hard to say, right? Like, I go on like 2 to 3 dates a week from Tinder and Bumble. So it's like for me, Is my life really going to change from Social Circle? Maybe, but it's marginal, right? Like dating apps.
Yeah. So I don't think it's marginal.
But I'm saying, don't you become better with women if you're just around more? You have more at bats, like because I feel like this just gets you there faster. You get more reps in the gym faster. You have more sets faster.
Right. Like, if it's the same effort put in, then I completely agree with you. But if it's going to become a lifestyle, then that's where that becomes an issue.
Oh, but hold on. But my guys can also get it. My guys can also get employed better. They can get sponsors better. It's not. So I don't teach a dating product. What I teach is a networking product. One of the subsets of networking is dating. Right. It's a way of communicating, and it's goal-oriented communication. One of the things we also talk about is sales. Another thing we also talk about is finding employees or finding someone to work for. Another thing we talk about is finding sponsors for our events. These are all different forms of persuasion that we teach. But just so we're clear, like don't put me in the category with the pickup dudes. It's just one of the things that we teach in the program. What you're talking about is like specifically game. And then like, that's not an issue for us. That's the thing is you or someone you know who you consider to have game, they have game because of experience. We get more experience because we're playing in the NBA and other guys are playing in the G League. We're playing more NBA games and running up and down the court more times because we're at more events with more attractive women. Does that make sense? That's the reason why these guys improve so quickly, right? Now, here's another thing, Coco, just so we're clear. Do the guys on this call have threesomes and bang hot chicks? Yes, all the time. We're never going to talk about that. That's a rule we have in the program. Rule number 6, no one needs to know who you're fucking. So I'm not John Anthony Lifestyle. I'm not ever going to have a lay count thing that goes off like that. I think it's terrible. And I also think it's really bad game, because when women know that you brag about sleeping with women, they're less likely to sleep with you, not more. Women don't want to be judged when they have. Women want to feel comfortable. They decided to have a one-night stand with you. They don't want to feel judged the next day. And then they tell their friends that you're judgmental like that. So we don't brag about that. But like the thing is this idea that, let me ask you a question, Coco. If I put you in those situations that you saw those guys were in, would you be able to meet girls?
I mean, what's funny is I think I did go to one of your students' events, and like it was like a Hamptons party, super cool, super fun. But there's like, I mean, I got laid. Like maybe 2 or 3 other guys got laid from a group of 30 or 40 guys. Seems like the fundamentals of game is still improving your looks.
Yeah, but
right,
but those 30 or 40 guys weren't in my program.
Right? What's up?
Those 30 or 40 guys weren't in my program. Like which guys in my program that you're talking about? Like there aren't 30 or 40 guys in MOA that are in New York. So that wasn't those guys.
Some of them were in MOA. I mean, that's how I found out about MOA. But I mean, I guess like okay, let's put it another way, right? If you don't work on the fundamentals, which is your mindset, your looks, your money, whatnot, and you put in these high status social circle events, are you going to do well?
You're going to do better, but like no one's telling you to do that though, right? No one in my program is like my program is way more intensive as far as like working on those things. Like is what we talk about. Where's my book list? I was trying to show it to you. We have a book list in MOA where everyone's required to read all these books. We're the ones doing the self-help besides just the just going out and doing cold approach. So I understand what you're saying. I will tell you it takes less time. My company would be growing 4 times, like 4x every year if it wasn't. What we're doing is just achieving outrageous results for these guys. Now, here's the thing. What you're thinking is these guys are around a bunch of hot women. Therefore, do they have the game in order to close? And what I'm explaining to you is because they're around so many hot women, they don't trip when they're around hot women. Their voice inflection doesn't go up. They don't have the autonomic nervous system responses. They start acting like normal, cool dudes because they're around women so much all the time, and their game improves because of it. That's the point. If you were to join, I'm a former U.S. military officer. When you join the infantry, one of the things they do is they put you behind a berm and they start firing live rounds over your head so you can hear what it sounds like. You can imagine, Coco, in the beginning, you're scared. You're hearing bullets fly over your head. If you stand up, you would die, right? But if you do that for a while, after the 3rd or 4th time, your heart rate stays in the 80s and I'm going to make it through this. This is what also happens with race car drivers, pilots, etc. You immerse yourself in the high stimulus activity to the point where you get used to it. It's called immersion. We do the same thing, except it's with really attractive women. That's one of the techniques to become better with them. Make sense? And by the way, really attractive women. This doesn't work as well with, like, I'm not as good as teaching these guys to get the 6s, the bachelorette party from Wichita. I'm not good at that. For the really attractive women, yes, that is what I teach. Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah, I know if you're combining with self-improvement, that's beautiful. Then it's dope.
Well, we're not combining with self-improvement. We're starting with self-improvement.
We're starting with self-improvement.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I would say, Coco, is that social circle game is all about long-term solutions. Like it is a systemic change of life, not just women. Women is a part of it, but it's not just it. When we are talking about the social circle game, we're talking about improving every single area of life. Women are included, and once you develop your status, they will be just automatically there. And I understand that when you code approach, and I have a lot of experience with code approaching, in the short term, you can get more results in social circle. But after some time, once you develop your systems, let's put it this way, you create a snowball effect that actually make things way faster for you than code approach, because code approach is limited to just women and women that you can easily get access to. But when you're talking about social circle and you're talking about developing status in all areas of your life, then it creates a snowball effect, as I said, that end up encompassing like your finances, women, fitness, and everything. And then you create a 360 change in your life, like everything, not just a part of it. So that is why me personally, I definitely prefer social circle game. After doing a code approach since I was 18, now I'm 30, and I have been focusing on social circle for the last 2 years. So the change is big when it comes to that. That at least is my opinion.
No, I think if you combine it with self-improvement, that's fucking dope. I guess my point is more so self-improvement is paramount more than the actual putting guys into parties with hot girls and whatnot. Like, because if you're high value and then you capitalize on that opportunity, that's fucking dope. So yeah, I completely agree with you guys. If you guys are doing both, that's fucking sexy.
But you know what else there is in parties with hot girls? Businessmen that you can connect with and make money with. Then, like, girls are just like I how can I say, a bait for you to also network with guys that actually have money. And then once you connect with them, have projects together. So as I said, it is like systemic. It is not just one part, you know?
So one of the things I would recommend, Coco, you check out is the book called, have you read Very Important People by Ashley Mears?
No, I have not. No.
So we have a required book list in my program. There's like 30 books you have to read. One of the books is Very Important People by Ashley Mears. She went undercover. She's a sociology professor at Boston University, and she went undercover. She was a fashion model and went undercover as a club girl, just basically a bottle girl for 2 years with all these promoters, and then wrote everything down for her doctoral thesis. It's phenomenal. There's a ton of stuff in there about Jason Strauss, who runs Tal Hakkasan. But one of the things they talk about is how men gain access by having beautiful women with them. So the Hamptons parties, you gain access to those parties by having women with you, right? And it's actually, here's the other thing, it gets progressively easier the more you do it.
That's fucking dope. Yeah. If you guys talk about building an overall lifestyle, that's dope.
Michael, I believe I can make another argument for pickup in the extent that in the Bilzerian's book, there is a chapter where he takes one friend with him, and they're on an island. There's only them, 16 girls, them's friend, and the guys that work there. And the guy is not able to get laid because he's too needy, he's chasing too much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm,
he's just a pussy. And then has to like take him aside and teach him the basics of social dynamics, and then he gets laid. So I think the main argument, there is no argument against the power of social circle, but there is an argument that there needs to be a basic understanding of social dynamics,
yes,
so that you know how to operate and make shit happen.
Yeah.
And if you pass through that, it won't work, even if you were on an island with 16 girls and the Bilzerian.
Agreed. So what I think another misconception is that a lot of guys from the social circle, from cold approach part of this, think that social circle means you are around a bunch of women, but you have no game. My point is you actually learn game faster because you're around a bunch of hot women. And I actually have proof to show that this is the case. That's the point we're trying to make. What happens is like, well, you're around this, but you still have to do this, this, and this. Cold approach is not game. What they're doing is like cold approach equals game. That is not how it works. Social circle is one type of way of meeting. It's almost like a billboard versus a magazine article. Neither of them are guaranteed sales, but one of them can get sales more than the other. So social circle is a way to be around women. Cold approach is a way to be around women. Game is something different. My point is, if you were to play at the YMCA once a week versus me playing 6 NBA games a week, I'm going to get more skilled at basketball than you are because I'm playing more games against higher competition. That's the difference between social circle and cold approach. I'm going to get more games against higher competition. That's why the guys who do this end up with better game in the long run.
I completely agree with you.
That's
what
great.
about SMV? What about sexual market value? Right? Like, I mean, is this going to work without having some form of SMV, right? Like, if you're like a fat dude, so I guess my point is more so you can still have to fix your SMV before any social circle, right? Before networking, before going to these parties.
Can I make a quick point? Well, I walked away from my friends real quick. We're talking about game. So you guys are aware of who Mystery is, right?
I used to work for Mystery, yeah.
Yeah. So
if you by the way, hold on, but real quick, hold on before you go on, Zach. If you read the Venusian Art Handbook that was written by Mystery, go in the acknowledgement section, and he literally names Michael Sartain. Go and see if I'm lying. Okay.
Oh yeah, but one of Mystery's like biggest things, aside from evolutionary psychology or his interpretation, was pre-selection. Like he was all about pre-selection. But this is the thing: any like pre-selection that you get in a cold approach situation is going to be shallow. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's never going to be as deep as if you kind of like know somebody and are actually friends with them. You know what I mean? Like it's not, you're not like running some hustle, like, you know, like a bad salesman, you know, trying to kind of like build rapport artificially when it's just like, oh, these are like our friends. And then, you know, like you kind of just have that a lot more easily.
Yeah, no, definitely understand. Well, again, that's the thing we're talking about is the scalability of it. That's what makes it different, is the scalability of it. Got it?
Yeah, and cold approach is part of social circle as well. And
yeah, it is. Yeah,
it is part, not everything, right?
Yeah, we do teach some cold approach. The thing is, what happens is most guys in cold approach act like it's everything, and it's actually a very, very small minority of actual game is cold approach. It's a skill set you need to learn. It's like inbounding a basketball. It's like one of the first things you need to learn in order to play basketball, but it's given way more importance than it should because of all the other skill sets that you need to learn. Make sense?
Mike, can I say something? So,
yeah, go ahead.
Coco, if you go to a nightclub by yourself and a couple buddies, and you go around cold approaching like girls, you're gonna get way less results than going to a nightclub with 3 hot female friends that are having their arms around you, kissing you, and introducing you to the girls. Because when you have female friends introducing you, they're telling the girls that you're okay and not a creep. So, social circle is doing cold approach with girls around you and other friends that are telling other people that you're okay and that you're good to be around. So there's no better pre-selection than a girl that's hotter than the one you're about to talk to, going up to that girl with her arm around you and saying, "Oh my God, meet my friend Luke. Isn't he so cute?" There's nothing better than that. And that's why social circle is way more scalable than cold approach. And that's why cold approach is a subset of social circle.
I agree with you. No, that's probably a positive. But like, I mean, do you guys know Matthew? Who's like another dude, like who's famous in the game New York chat. Me and him went out every single day in Singapore, got laid every single week. Just 2 of us going out to club.
But it's also Singapore. Like you're dealing with women who are like extremely poor. It's not called Sing-a-Rich, bro. It's called Singapore for a reason. Like it's like saying you went out in Medellin and got.
Singapore is a rich city, but okay,
Singapore is the richest fuck.
It's a very rich city, but okay, fair enough. But I guess the point was, I guess it really depends on your SMV and game. Like if you're a good-looking dude who's confident and has game, I don't see why cold approach is a bad thing. But I agree with you.
No one's saying it's a bad thing. Yeah. It's a less efficient thing. By the way, the guy you were just talking to, this is his Instagram right now. I just want to make sure you understand this isn't something just isolated. You were just speaking to him. These are not pictures of me. Okay, Luke, how long have you been in MOA?
Since last May, and I started promoting in December.
Okay. So it's not also doesn't take 20 years like it took me. See what I'm saying?
So Mike,
the lifestyle looks dope. The lifestyle looks dope. I'm not gonna lie, but the question is like, does everyone need to have 20 women every single day?
In fact, not only do you not, several of my clients don't put any women on their Instagram at all, but they still show access to scarce resources and high status. That's the reason why it works. Also, one of the rules we have in this program, we don't teach you to get girls with money ever. We do not use money to get girls. You'll notice there's no Bugattis, there's no expensive watches. That is a type of social circle game. That's not what we teach in MOA.
But you're saying money isn't required to get this lifestyle. Like you don't have to invest.
Absolutely not required to get this lifestyle. Yes, that is absolutely what we're saying.
Okay, that's fucking amazing. That's dope.
Yeah. So that's another thing. Now, can you use money with this lifestyle? Of course, but we want you to learn. We want you to learn how to like, it's almost like a natural bodybuilder who later on takes steroids. We want you to learn to do this without money. Right. And then afterwards, if you want to use money, you can, but that's not what I teach.
So, Mike, I want to touch on that analogy that you were talking about with the basketball player in the NBA and the YMCA, right? So, if you have a basketball player who, he's in the NBA versus the YMCA, even though that he's playing at a higher, playing field, there's more at risk there, right? The stakes are higher at the NBA, and it's only going to take.
But there's no risk. There's no risk either way, though. There's no risk in cold approach or social circle. There is no risk. The risk is when you say there's risk playing NFL football, playing in the NBA, there's no risk. You just get better.
No, but like you're going to get cut. That's my point. Like if you fail, you're going to get cut from the NBA versus from the YMCA. It's like, there's not really that much at stake. You know what I mean?
How do you get cut from social circle? I'm
no. So what I mean is that like, so going back to that, then for example, like if you have someone who's in social circle, right? But they have pretty much zero fundamentals. I mean, like below fundamentals, like they have trouble making eye contact, right?
Right. So they wouldn't be doing any of that because that's something we work on. Like, yeah, what this is the normal like cold approach argument, is that somehow we're doing this and then like letting nerdy guys go out there and throw these events and then like they're just going to get outrageous results. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is, and this is a part of, for some reason, the pickup guys can't hear when I say this because I've said it a million times. You get better with women because you're all around more women. You get better with women because you're all around more women. You get used to being around more women. Does that make sense?
No, I do. The comfort part of it makes sense, right? My question is, how does your game, like, how do you learn how to do that stuff without making mistakes? You know, without having to worry about
but you do. Oh, so you're worried about like you're in a social circle making mistakes and then you're going to ruin the circle. Yeah, it's not quite like it. So you're thinking more of like a high school clique. It's not really like that. It's not. It's more like my social circle is millions of people. Right. It's not like, and by the way, every time I go to a new city, I just hit up one or two people that I know that are like hooked up in that city. And then they introduce me to some more people and poof, instant social circle. I can build a social circle in maybe 25 minutes if I were to go to New York. I would go, I found out like I would be like, talk to the GM, be like, oh yeah, I work with Jason Strauss, blah, blah, blah. He'd connect me to this person. And then I'd probably see some promoter who used to work in Vegas. I talk to him. And then afterwards, I'm like hanging out with 20, 30 people. Yeah, it takes maybe 20 minutes to build this. This is not something, it's been, I'm going to say something real quick, and this is probably going to piss some people off, but this is the actual truth. Ready? No one in pickup has ever taught social circle. Let me say that one more time. No one in pickup has ever actually taught social circle. No one. The closest anyone ever got was Adam Lyons doing this promoter stuff before he became a pickup coach. No one in pickup, no, Braddock is definitely not. No one in pickup has ever actually taught social circle. What they did was, and I don't mean to call a bunch of people out, but there are companies, I'm not going to say their name, for years, the owners of those companies, you guys know the story, one of the CEOs of one of those companies, they met their girlfriend through me. They would watch me for years, and then they would go out and teach on stage the things that they saw me do for years. For any of you guys have been watching RSD videos for a long time, you know that this is true. That's what they would do. No one in pickup has ever actually taught social circle game. No one. Because they didn't understand it. And if I'm wrong, then show me the dudes in pickup that were doing anything like this. No one in pickup has ever taught social circle game. Not one single person. Not one. This is the first time it's actual real social circle game has ever been taught, period. And so that's why there's a lot of confusion. And you guys say things like, well, you don't really know because what if the guy doesn't have any game? Well, then he wouldn't be doing my program because that's one of the things we teach. That wouldn't happen. But what again, it's a misconception because so many guys who are cold approach pickup artists were trying to, it was almost like a guy who's an accountant who tries to dabble into real estate. That's what was going on here. This wasn't your expertise. This was my expertise. And they were trying to teach based on what they were seeing me do. And because I was I was doing this for free for 14 years, a lot of those guys were just copying the stuff that they saw me do. Does that make sense? There were a few things I learned from Mystery, like Industry Night was something I learned from Mystery, but Mystery doesn't do real social circle game. Real social circle game is you guys throw an event with 500 influencers that show up and celebrities want to come to your event and they'll literally pay money to come and people are beating down the door to get in. That's real social circle game. The thing is, the people who do that don't teach anything. They're not interested in male improvement whatsoever. The only person who's ever done this is me. That's the reason. And I'm not trying to be arrogant. If I'm wrong, then find other examples of what that I'm doing that other people are doing. You aren't going to find anyone. You're going to find the dude in Brazil with a bunch of prostitutes that he paid to run around with him on a boat, right? Or you're going to find the dude in Colombia who's like basically paying women as a harem of women to hang out with him. That's what they're teaching. That's not real though. That's not real social circle game. The only guys who are doing real social circle game are either me or my clients. That's it. Again, I know it sounds arrogant and I apologize, but then show me the evidence, irrefutable visual evidence of someone else who is doing this. Anyone Michael. Else. Yeah, go ahead.
And I just mean to be factually, just to give a compliment. Owen made one 2-hour video about doing a funnel-like structure with people you could approach during the night and then channeling them into an event and things that are similar, but instead of doing invites, he used the leads you got from cold approach. And then it's like, you go to the club, there's the leads, you go, you approach, get the energy high, exchange Instagram, do the manual invites for the people you could approach, and then you make an event. And he did 1-2-hour video on this. And I found it very helpful. Maybe not on your level, but he tried to teach it at least once that I can remember.
I totally agree with Gabriel. Where do you think he got that from?
Oh, from you. He says it explicitly. He says that he invited Luke because he wanted you to come first.
One more time, Coco. Owen says it explicitly in his video. He got it from me. When I'm going to say this one more time, one of the problems while we're having this lack of translation is because no one's actually ever taught social circle until I did. Like real social circle. When I'm talking about real social circle, I'm talking about the stuff that like the highest end club promoters, networkers, convention planners, and guys like that do, like the highest level Dale Carnegie stuff. Those guys don't teach male improvement. So there was never, those two worlds never met. They never met until now. That's why. The best, like you don't see nightclub, like Jason Strauss and Dan Bilzerian don't have dating products. You see what I'm saying? That's the point. There was never a confluence of these two things. The other problem was the overall male self-improvement never included leadership studies until Jocko Willink came around and like some of these Navy SEALs and military guys, again, former US military officer, maintain eye contact, excellent service before self, integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. I will not lie, cheat, or steal, nor I tolerate anyone amongst us who does. This is what we teach in Men of Action, integrity and leadership. That builds our social circle. That's what we do that's different. No one has taught that ever. This is the first time this type of stuff is being taught. And the other companies that have been teaching it have basically been teaching a derivative of what they've been watching me do for the last 12 years in Las Vegas. That's what's going on. And it sounds so arrogant when I say it, and I apologize. And those guys have so many great things to talk about. And I think Owen Cook is one of the greatest speakers I have ever seen live in my entire life. And he's a genius. But this was something he learned from me. I remember the first time I took Amber Beatty to one of his events. There's a girl that I was seeing. I was like, hey, I'm going to be in Vegas. Amber wants to go out. Amber's going to go out with you and your guy friends, and she's going to introduce you to other women. And no one's like, what? Wait, what do you mean? You're just leaving your girl with me? I was like, yeah, no, I don't give a fuck. She's just going to introduce you to other girls. That's actual social circle game. That's actual Katie is a fullback. Katie introduces guys to girls so much it's ridiculous. Coco, Katie walking up to women will have more success than any guy you've ever seen in your life, right? Like literally, you should have seen Kylie the other night. Kylie the other night was sitting there talking to girls for one of my clients, and the girls were like, yes, yeah, because they're going to be iffy about the guy, but they're not going to be iffy about Kylie. Does that make sense?
No, fair enough. But I guess the bigger question is, I think you talked about it earlier as well, right? Trends. Like in cold approach or dating apps, you could fuck up, right? You could, there's trial and error. There's room for error, and no one really cares because it's all strangers. In social circle, when you're going out with a group of guys girls and you fuck up, right? You make a mistake or something goes wrong. What happens to the social circle? Is it, I don't know, what happens, right? Do you essentially lose friends? Do you lose people? Like,
a great question. A great question. Go ahead. You got anybody else want to answer?
I mean, do you have examples of like fucking?
Yeah, can you restate the question more succinctly? Because that's like three questions.
Well, I can take situations like on dating apps or Instagram or at a club, just like with your buddies, you're talking to strangers. There's a lot of room for, I don't know, like something stupid happening, right? Like you make a mistake or something doesn't go well, they don't like you, whatever, right? In social circle situations, or at least in colleges, I'm sure you guys have experienced it. There is a lot of error. There is a lot of risk in social situations of fights with friends, like some form of issues coming up. You hit
this is always an issue,
circle, right? You hit on girls within your social circle. Someone in the social circle thinks you're weird or creepy. Boom! Suddenly, everyone thinks you're creepy. There's a lot of other issues like that, right? When everyone knows each other, essentially. Versus cold approach, where everyone's a fucking stranger and nothing fucking matters.
Yeah. So I guess to answer your question, then there's two things with that. One, I think you're looking at social circle in a very limited way. If you have a very expansive social circle that's encapsulating hundreds of people, let's say hypothetically you fuck up so massively, if you knew enough people, that probably wouldn't even trickle, right? Now, if this was like back in high school or like you're in a small town, I 100% see where you're coming from with that. But the second thing is that those things only happen when you're socially uncalibrated. And that's a big part of pickup. From what I've noticed, is a lot of the guys are socially uncalibrated. They would fuck that up one way or the other, whether it was social circle or not. But again, the answer still comes back to your self-improvement and becoming socially calibrated, not like doing pickup. Because that's usually the only time in my experience where I've seen that be a problem. Whereas if you were just a cool dude, you were just in a social circle and you just knew a lot of people and you had pre-selection going for you and other people knew you and you had social proof and you were consistently going out, like you're setting yourself up to not fail. You're creating like a foundation.
I agree with you. It's just that not everyone's going to like you, right? I mean, it's just like the fact of it. I'm sure like guys who faced it in college, not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to fuck with you. Like even if you're social.
So that's the thing. If everyone's not gonna fuck with you, isn't the best option to be around the most amount of people as possible, so you'll find more people who do, because it's just numbers at that point.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess my question is more so, say you have a tight social circle going, something goes wrong socially, what happens? Do you essentially lose all the effort you've put into building that group and building that circle?
By the way, it's really great that you're asking, but Coco, let me say a couple things. Number one,
great question.
Thank God for you. With the last couple of weeks, we had Gia Mia on Access Vegas and we had Primal Status Elevated before that. And it was nonsensical yelling. And you were making points based on anecdotal evidence that you've experienced in your life. And this is so much better. Thank you so much for having a rational conversation. I know for you haven't experienced this. For me, on my standpoint, it's nothing but irrational nonsense. I'm debating an astrologer in 2 weeks. Like that, this kind of crazy nonsense that I have to go. By the way, there's nothing wrong if you believe in astrology. There's just something wrong when you try to tell me you have evidence to support it because you don't. So one of these things that's happened is you keep making these great points. They're terrific. The problem is, like I said before, we go back to the fundamental understanding. I don't think social circles ever actually been taught correctly. Or level 10 social circles never been taught. Maybe level 3 social circles been taught. And so when I say that, you know, one of the things when you go back and you say those things about screwing up, it's because if you try it, I've screwed up several times. When I first moved to Vegas, I was a low man on the totem pole, and I would try to get into clubs or try to get on stage at places, and they'd be like, no, get the fuck out of here. I've been thrown out of so many tables in Las Vegas. It's ridiculous. Now it never happens because everyone here knows me, and it happens over time. So let me give you an example, right? What happened to Jordan Belfort after he went to jail for 15 months for securities fraud and he fucked a bunch of hookers and he did a bunch of cocaine and Quaaludes? Did he lose his status after that?
I probably got more status because of the movie.
Beautiful. So. Okay, awesome. After Caitlyn Jenner ran over someone, killed them, and then ran into a second person, 4 months later, she was named Woman of the Year. Did she gain status or lose status? What happened?
Gain status.
Okay. Your president went and fucked a porn star while his wife was pregnant and still got elected. And then he just got arrested, right? And turned out. Do you think that his popularity has gone down or up since he's been arrested? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, all types of fame is good fame. So
okay, cool. And then Andrew Tate, do you think more people are more zealotly following him now, before or after he went to jail? What do you think?
Now, being notorious is a good thing for status and fame.
Okay, so do you understand when you keep talking about messing up, there is no messing up. If you want, I can give you 10 more examples. There is no messing up. Several times when I first moved here, there were girls who wouldn't piss on me if I was on fire. But over time, I did what you would consider messing up. But over time, as my status increased, they would come up to me, the same girls, and be like, hey, how are you? I've missed you. You've missed me? You didn't even know who the fuck I was, but you missed me. I'll show you text messages, Coco, from girls I've never even met before saying they missed me. Status is status is status, and it trumps everything. That's what we're trying to say. Does that make sense? So there is no messing up. There's only what you did today. Who's the most famous person in the world? Like, let's just say Ronaldo or fucking Justin Timberlake or Barack Obama or fucking whoever the most famous person in the world is. Just think of whoever, Messi. Okay, someone like that.
Yeah.
Who would you say? Pick a person.
Messi. Messi.
Let's just say Messi. Awesome. Awesome. How did Messi affect your life today?
I mean, I do like football, so I mean,
today
nothing much.
Okay,
no.
So my point is, he's the most famous person in the world, and he didn't affect your day. So what are you going to do to someone else's day? You're not the most famous person.
No, I completely agree with you. I mean, that's the approach I take in social situations, right? And in cold approach, there's no consequences as well. And on dating apps, there's no consequence. You can text.
So I disagree with you about there being no consequences, because there's certain pickup coaches that have gone to jail. Several of them. There's several that have been banned from certain places. There's definitely consequences. There's definitely consequences.
Unless you go over the line. But in social situations, it's very likely that if a few girls just don't like you, It's not uncommon.
But hold on. But we encourage men to make hundreds of female friends. So they don't like you. We do things very differently. We don't, because here's another massive mistake that pickup makes. Women do not sleep with you because of your intent. They sleep with you because of your status. So when you have a bunch of women with you, you don't have to hit on women. So you never have the problem of them not liking you. You don't ever have to hit on that. That's the difference. You can still show intent. You can still take the engagement from one place to another, to another, to another, to your bedroom. You still have intent. I mean, I'm sorry. You still take control. You're still assertive. You're just not aggressive. And you don't displace yourself by looking needy or gross. Does that make sense?
No, fair enough.
Because you have status.
Yeah. Right. Let's say you're not even trying to pick them up, but you're just trying to talk, right? You're just trying to be friendly. All of us have faced it in college and whatnot in high school. It does happen. Some people just don't like you, and that's very likely. There's
just so unimportant. Like, again, the girl who went on my show on Thursday doesn't like me. She was very angry with what I'm saying, and I'm going to Excess next Sunday, and she's a cocktail server there. What's going to happen? She's not going to kick me out. It doesn't make any difference. You'd be surprised. Here's the other thing. When somebody else is caught off sides, meaning they're going too far, they're the ones who overreact, say nothing. Do nothing. You didn't do anything inappropriate. Just don't do anything inappropriate. How do you learn what's appropriate, not appropriate? By having a bunch of experience. That's how you do it, by immersing yourself. Does that make sense? Hold on. Kylie, you had something you wanted to ask. What was it?
Oh, no, I was just confused because I thought we were talking about.
Stand by. Hold on one second, guys. I picked the wrong thing. Go ahead. Kylie, what was the question?
I was just confused because I thought we were talking about cold approach, but now we didn't talk about cold approach at all. We just talked about social media, but cold approach is just me and my friends are going to the club and then a bunch of annoying guys are coming up to us, annoying the fuck out of us all night long. That's cold approach. So now I'm confused. Is that what we're talking about? Or are we just talking about social media? I don't get this.
No, I'm talking about
social circle.
Yeah, social circle. Cold approach, like going to clubs, talking to girls, that sort of thing, and talking to girls on dating apps.
Hey, let's do something. Let's start from the other end, Coco. Try this. So a couple things. Number one, I want you to come out to Vegas. I'll take you to bikini competition, and you're gonna be like, okay, I see this way. This is way too fucking easy. My bad. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing I want you to do is then find really attractive women and ask them how they met their boyfriends, and then or the last 5 guys they slept with, whatever, and find how many of them said through a female friend inviting me or introducing me, and find out how many of them said from day game cold approach at the mall. You're gonna find the answer is about 100 to 0. Really attractive women are not telling me that their boyfriend or there's some guy they hooked up with walked up to them in a mall. That did not happen. What happened was a girl, because I go back and watch my podcast, every one of these girls, I asked them, where'd you meet? I had Elizabeth Chevalier, who was a multi-time playmate. Where'd you meet your ex-fiance? My other friend who's a playmate introduced me to him. I asked several times, like you can ask all the girls introduced me to Kylie. It's girls introducing girls to guys. That is social circle. The hottest women almost exclusively meet guys that way. Now, if that's not what you're concerned about, because I know a lot of guys are like, I don't want the hottest girls because they're a bunch of drama. You're not wrong about that, by the way, sometimes. But the point is, the thing is, from this highest upper echelon, it is women introducing women to men. That is how it works. And if I'm wrong, then find examples where I'm wrong. Like talk to girls in the.
In terms of overall stats, like I think most relationships do start off from dating apps in 2023.
It's not most, but there's a lot of them that start from dating apps. But once they get on dating apps and they match, what happens is most of them start from Instagram. There's more from really, by the way, also Coco, most people dating is not the same thing as these guys here. These guys don't want to date the girls that most guys get. They want to date attractive women. That's part of the thing in MOA. So really attractive women are not on dating apps, but they are on Instagram. And when I have really attractive women on my podcast and I ask them, they're like, a girl introduced me. And the first thing I looked at was his
Instagram. No, I completely agree with that. I mean, I've met girls from cold DM on Instagram. It doesn't have to be someone introduced.
Right. So just so we're clear, cold DM on Instagram is not cold approach. That's still social circle. Because what happens is it has to do with your status is shown on your Instagram. Does that make sense?
Do you think it's status or looks though? I mean, that's my real question, right? In 2023, it seems like a lot of the younger girls, 18 to 24, it's primarily looks. I mean, I know
for women, but for men, it's different.
Yeah. No, I'm saying genuine for men, right? Like I think the good-looking guys with no status would do absolutely fine with good-looking girls who are young, with zero status.
But guys with status again. We have to get all the sliders up into the 90s. So if my sliders on height are not super high, then I need to increase my slider on physique. 71% of attractiveness that women find in men is from upper body muscle. A 0.65 to 1, 1.65 to 1 shoulder to waist ratio is what women tend to find most attractive, according to Dr. David Buss's study of 37 cultures. Again, we bring this back to science, Coco, right? So how do we do that? How can we get a 1.65 to 1 shoulder to waist ratio? Well, some of us can't put but maybe an inch or two on our shoulders, but we can take 5 or 6 inches off of our waist by getting in better shape. You see what I'm saying? These are the things that we do. So we want to get the physique right, all these different things right, because there's some things we can't control. I don't have pretty blue eyes, and I'm not 6'3", right? There's a few things I can't control. What are the other things that can I control? Can I become more charismatic? Yes. How do I do that? Immersion, practice over and over again. Watching myself on camera. Are those exact, watching myself on camera, is that not an exact module in MOA? Yes, it is. These are the ways that we practice these things. How can I get used to the point where I'm around attractive women and my pupils don't dilate and my palms don't get sweaty? And I go, hey guys, how are you guys doing? So many pickup artists. I talk to them like, hey man, I'm going to go approach these girls. Hey guys, what's going on? What do you guys want a little drink? Their voice inflection goes up a couple of octaves. Why does that not happen for my guys? Because they're immersed around attractive women all the time. The question you guys keep asking is, how do you get girls if you're around a bunch of attractive women who don't have game and you're asking the wrong question? The real question is, the real statement is, when you're around a lot of attractive women all the time, you develop game. That's the difference. That's the problem where people are getting this wrong. You're developing game through cold approach, through being around attractive women. We're developing game through social circle by being around more attractive women more often, and then having women introduce us to even more attractive women. You see what I'm saying? A cold approach is arithmetic. Social circle game is not exponential, it's geometric. That's how fast everything grows for you. And then as you do it, it becomes progressively less and less and less difficult with less and less effort. This year, I have to promote for a $100,000 bikini competition at Wet Republic. I will not probably even spend 90 minutes recruiting, and I will get 200 girls to show up. Because last year I did spend 4 hours recruiting and I got 200 girls to show up. And the year before that, it took me maybe 8 hours and a VA to help me, and I got 200 girls to show up. It gets progressively easier every time. Does it make sense?
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
So Coco, let's take your skill set, and then I just bring you to the Playboy Mansion. You're going to do not twice as good. You're going to do 10 times better. That's the point, right? That's the difference. If we did this consistently, then it gets progressively easier. And then when you do the cold DMs, but you have a social circle that looks like you're where girls want to be, and that you have some level of competency and success, doesn't have to be money. Doesn't have to be money. But you show those things, like you happen to be at the cool party at Coachella, or you're on stage at XS, or you're in the Valley of Fire, or you're out on a fucking kayak in a river, or you're just doing fun things that girls want to do. You're snowboarding. If you're doing that consistently and you can show that, then when you cold DM, you're going to notice your success go up like it would from a guy who's 5'6" to a guy who's 6'3". Obviously, he's going to have a little bit more luck. The guy who has a better looking Instagram is going to do progressively better. But the difference is my cold approach will allow me to cold approach, maybe if I'm just psychopath, 100 girls a night, 200 girls a night, whereas I get 6 million impressions a month on my Instagram. You see the difference?
No, I don't disagree with you. I mean, like, fair enough. If you can do it, why not? I guess my question is more so, I mean, yeah, you've already addressed this point. If it's not high effort, I completely agree with you. That's a dope lifestyle to do. You should work on social circle.
When are you coming out to Vegas, man?
Soon, I hope. I think I'll be there for the Drake and 21 Savage concert.
When is that?
September 1st.
Where is that going to be? You know?
I have no fucking clue.
It's probably at Allegiant.
So if it's at Allegiant, I don't have a hookup there. But if it's at T-Mobile, my buddy has a box because of social circle, and I just walk into the box.
But you're saying access to stuff like that improves your results that much, box and tables and that kind of thing.
Well, let me ask you. So it improves my access. But then again, let's say I was single and I wanted to ask a girl on a date. Hey, do you want to go sit in a luxury box for 21 Savage and it doesn't cost me anything? How do you think that works?
I mean, I've spoken to a lot of tables who get nothing. I mean, most guys.
Correct, because they're not doing social circle game. They're trying to beat you down with money. Correct, because they're trying to beat you down with money. Nobody in MOA is buying tables, though. Nobody. 0 people are buying tables. We're getting comp tables. Yeah. We don't buy the tables.
Yeah, I guess it boils down to whether you think looks and game or status and access to resources is bigger.
Okay, so looks are a form of status. So look, just have you ever played Madden? You play FIFA Ultimate Team?
Yeah,
FIFA?
I play FIFA, yeah.
Right. So you know how you can have speed goes up to 99, agility, change the direction. They go like from 50 to like 99. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure. Yeah.
Right. So what we can't have is our breadth be at a 50, but our height's at a 99. You know what I'm saying? We got to get everything above a 90. Those guys who pay for tables, their money is above a 90, but they're still fat and their game sucks. So their game's at like a 50. You see what I'm saying?
Fair enough. Yeah.
This program, there's 114 modules in MOA and there's 2,000 hours of content. It's all of it. We do all of it. We're not a dating company. We do all of it.
Yeah, maxing out your entire life. Yeah, I mean, fuck yeah.
We're max out your bro. You could join my course and we'll teach you how to build a sales funnel. All of it. All of it. Scalable 8-figure business. All of it. We're doing all of it. That's the thing. Make sense? Networking is an evolutionary adaptation, not networking just to pick up girls. All of it. That's what we do. Now, here's what happens. Build the 8-figure business, get in shape, read the books on the book list. And then go out to the event where there's 7-to-1 girl to guy ratio. You don't, at that point, I'm not saying you shouldn't have game, but you don't need game anymore. They pick you. Understand? Hey, brother, you got muted there. Sorry.
Yeah, for guys on self-improvement, like if you are working towards building a business, hitting the gym, looks maxing, that sort of thing, how do you have the time to do all this stuff every weekend? Like go out to parties and
it's funny. So we go out less than you guys do. We go out way less than cold approach guys do. Also, the other thing is really crazy. You have to go out and cold approach yourself. We can hire VAs to do our invites. So I'll give you an example. So the first 4 steps in MOA, number 1 is to fix your Instagram. Number 2 is build a list. And we can give you a list. Like we have a New York list, a list of like all the hottest girls in New York. Number 3 is to find 6 events to invite those girls to, but you don't have to go to the events and they don't have to go to the events. You just want open threads. And then rule number 4 is to bring 6 girls to one of those events. So when you do the invites, you're going to invite like 4,000 or 5,000 girls. You might be like, well, that's too many. I was like, I don't have time to do that. No, you can hire a VA. VA will do it for you.
I guess another question, like a lot of guys have been asking me like on Telegram, and they told me to ask you was, if you're actually high value enough, why not just text the girls for a date? Why invite them to all these events and like? Why
you
not
will eventually? No, but you will eventually, right? Right. But where
up.
do you meet the girl? But where do you meet the girls? If you're high value, where do you meet the girls?
Well, no, I mean, like if you're gonna, I mean, I told girls on Instagram and it does work, but I mean, if you do meet a girl, why not just ask her out on a date? Why have this funnel of bringing girls to a party and doing a massive funnel, right? Party, another party.
So because going back to what I said before, when you ask the hottest girls where they met the guys they're dating, they all, like, we're talking high 90% say, I met them from a friend introducing me. That's why. You're looking at it from your anecdotal experience, and I'm telling you what you're experiencing could even be better if you tried this. And I'm showing you videos of it.
You don't date the 6 peripheral girls that you're inviting to things. You date those girls' friends.
Hey, fair enough. Okay, yeah. No, that makes sense. You're saying it amplifies your results if you only have the fundamentals of self-improvement.
Yeah, Coco, just a question. What is this worst case scenario that you said that could happen, for instance, when you're approaching a girl in your social circle and then you get embarrassed because she rejected you? Is that it that you're saying? That could destroy your social status?
I mean, Leo, let's say like you get rejected by a girl. You're very respectful. Some girls just think you're weird or creepy or ugly, right? I mean, some girls find me ridiculously handsome. Some girls think I'm ugly as shit. That's the brutal truth, right? It's like everyone has a different type and all that stuff.
No, yeah, Kylie and Katie just keep messaging me. They want to ask you out. They just keep. So go ahead.
So there's like a duality, right? There's a duality. Like some girls are just not going to fuck with you. Some girls are. And I mean, automatically, if you approach someone and they don't like you for some reason.
Hey, Coco, I think where this comes. I think where this comes from.
I think this comes from pickup because, like, I feel like
thank you, 100%. Thank you. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Wait, Raj. Well, I was going to say, I feel like that comes from pickup because ultimately, if look at this point, I just think it's like hard to creep someone out unless you do something so egregious that's going to creep people out. And don't get me wrong, there's guys who absolutely do that. But at a point, you need to fix something within you. And there's no amount of cold approach that would fix that. If anything, cold approach would amplify that because there is no consequence.
Cold approach the cold approach teaches you to like reframe rejection, and you don't need to reframe rejection. You need to figure out why you were rejected. That's the reason. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I gotta say that Michael has an advantage, dude. Because like just coming from like working at Love Systems, like and I've seen like different PUA companies, like half the clients for PUA companies like are on the autism spectrum. All right, so like not even playing field. There's like very it's like maybe single digits of like dudes on the spectrum in Michael's program at like 100.
There's 500 dudes in the program. There's some dudes on the spectrum. There are.
But
The thing is what you're talking about before is why is it that we don't have this concern about messing things up with a girl? And that's because we do things that are so calibrated. Nobody in this program ever has that issue. It really isn't a problem for us because we're doing things based on calibrated ways to attract women. And what happens with cold approach is a lot of times like you're using the same approach or a similar approach to a lot of different girls, and then you're getting rejected and you're not accepting it as feedback. Maybe not you, Coco. I'm not saying you specifically, but a lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll be like, the dude in Brazil, how to destroy objections, how to remove I don't get objections to begin with. Why would I need to destroy them? I built enough status where I don't have that issue. That's the problem. Last minute resistance. I don't really know what that is. Why would we have any? Because we don't have that problem. That's because we do things a calibrated way because we're just around so many women all the time.
I feel if you need to ask yourself, what if I creep out the girls? Then that means there's something wrong within you.
I've never been worried about creeping out the girls because of my approach.
Because even if you like approach and like showed like too much intent per se, a lot of girls don't care. They just move on because they're used to getting
I mean, I'm sure there are guys in college or in high school have experienced like suboptimal social situations. I'm not saying extreme.
I'm in college right now.
I'm sure there are guys who have experienced that sort of thing. And it's
I experienced it before I got into social circles.
No, I mean, it's a very normal experience. And there's a lot of shaming by other guys and girls and whatnot, but it's a very normal experience, right? And most guys do go through it at some point in life. I don't get it as much anymore, but when I was younger, it definitely happened. I mean, it could be very simple things. A girl thinks you're ugly. You're very confident and approached. You're automatically creepy, right? I mean, if you guys
I don't think that's the case, man. I really don't agree with that, dude. Like I'm telling you,
there's no creep shaming. You guys really don't believe in
I think there's creep shaming because they're creepy. Like that's where we're different. I do think the creep shaming is unnecessary. The guy's just not he's not calibrated. But what I'm saying is, why does this not happen to any of my guys? And the reason why is because they're around women so much, they don't get into creepy situations. They understand, hey, I'm going to create a system where I'm going to offer value. It's going to be a win-win situation. I'm going to say, hey, this is kind of like how it is. Hey, man, I got this awesome thing that we're going to go do later with a bunch of cool people. You can come or not. It's not, hey, what's your name? Spin them around. Woof, woof, woof. I'm not doing pickup shit. Okay. I'm not doing pickup shit. I'm saying, hey, we're going to go to Babes in Toyland. There's a bunch of influencers that are coming. You come if you'd like. We're going to raise money for animals. If you don't give a fuck about animals, don't worry about it. Don't come. And then I show them irrefutable visual evidence about how awesome it is. And then I just walk the fuck away. And they're texting me like, wait. Let me get your info. No one's accusing us of being creepy. That's what we do. That's so much more calibrated. We never have this issue.
No. So I think I said, okay, maybe it's a wrong word. Even if you don't go that extreme creepy, right? Just say some guys don't like you, even like within the social circle.
Yeah, dudes don't like me a lot. You want to know dudes who don't like me? Pickup artists really don't fucking like me. Yes, I'm aware.
Rich guys do not like us either.
Rich guys hate my ass. They hate me because the girls they've been spending all this money on to try to get are going out with me. They fucking hate me.
Coco, you also don't approach your close female friends in your close social circle. Like you don't try to approach them sexually as well. You get their friends if you're talking about approaching girls. And also you have the compliance loops that end up not getting you into a position of having this crazy rejection that you're imagining, right? And Katie said it as well, like you don't approach your women girl, you don't approach your female friends to the point where you get to the situation, right? If you do that, then you're creepy as hell, that is for sure. If you do that, then you're uncalibrated and creepy. and then you deserve the rejection that you're imagining.
Yeah. I mean,
If they're introducing you to their girlfriend, that means they're comfortable with you, and then that shows their friends that they can be comfortable with you as well.
Do you know about compliance loops, Coco? Compliance loops?
Sure.
Have you heard about it?
Yeah.
So through compliance loops, you can do a gradual system of just measuring the level of attraction that you get from the girl to the point where you don't face this level of rejection that you're imagining in social circle situations. So you don't need to get worried about that.
No. Okay, it doesn't have to be extreme, but it's normal to be rejected, right? Like, I mean, not everyone's gonna like you.
But what are you imagining when you're thinking about rejection? What actually you're imagining? Just the girl not accepting to have a drink with you? That's it.
Just a guy who doesn't vibe with you. Yeah, or sure, a girl who doesn't like you. What happens? And it's a closed social circle. And you guys
that doesn't destroy your social circle. If she says no,
like there's a spectrum here between that and being creepy. Like those are there's like a spectrum here. So like, how are you going from like she doesn't vibe with you to creepy? Like there's a lot of gap between those two things.
I think the biggest problem.
And also, if you could approach enough, eventually you will get the sweet spot. If you could approach enough, you will stop. Like, I know, guys. I have my crew here in Brazil. We do code approach. Eventually, we stop getting this. You just get enough calibration that this stops happening. Like, yes, you'll be rejected. Yes, some girls will ask you to back off, and that's it. The thing is, and I think that's the biggest difference between the two.
Which is normal. What happens if that happens in a social circle situation? Like, say you're going out with girls.
You don't get to that.
Wait, let me ask you.
You're not trying that hard. The thing is, I know guys that can build a sexual life out of code approach. They can fuck 3 times a week, but they need to put really a lot of effort. And in a beauty scale, it's just 6 and 7s, occasionally it's 8s, once a month, once every 2 months. And it's just a lot of effort and very little returns. But the blowouts are not that big of a problem if you do it for long enough and you are available to learn from feedback. Eventually it stops.
But you're saying you guys don't get rejected in social circle situations, like your friends, girls don't there's
no, you can get rejected.
Coco, let me ask you a question. Be objective here. Do you think you'd have an easier time approaching women if Katie, who you're talking to right now, approached girls with you? Do you think it would be an easier time or a harder time? What do you think? Be objective here, Coco.
I mean, it depends on how active she is as a wing woman. If she is active, yeah, I'm sure it helps a lot.
Active. It's Katie Moore. Yeah. She's the most active girl to do this on the planet, of course.
Well, yeah, in that case, yeah.
You just gotta find a Katie.
I was gonna say that. Sorry, I can't turn on my camera right now. I was gonna say that, Coco, with the rejection stuff, I think you're probably asking that because a lot of pickup artists do get rejected when they approach. But the thing is that, and you've been kind of hinting at it during the call if we teach game or not. The first module that Michael teaches is breaking rapport and social skills, right? In MOA, and it's way different than I guess the traditional pickup artist stuff that DHV stores or whatever the fuck they're doing. It's way different than that shit, right? It's actually being funny and letting the other person talk about themselves and stuff like that. And what I've seen is when you use that, the social skills that Michael teaches, even though we don't talk about it a lot, I guess in the marketing of MOA, it does way better than any of that code approach, stuff or tactics that other guys use, right? So even at code approach, Michael teaches it better, right? So rejection is less likely to happen. And a lot of times we're not even hitting on women because we're surrounded by so many women where they're coming towards you, if that makes sense. So rejection is really, again, you're not showing crazy amounts of intent and stuff, right? Because you have so much status, within your circle, or if you go in the club with 6 girls, again, you have a number of options rather than, just going to each girl and getting rejected or trying to get her, if that makes sense.
You're saying you guys don't get rejected. I don't get it. You're saying every
girl. I'm saying
that. For God's sake.
Yeah, we didn't say that. We said
rejection happens, but it is not in the context of code approach. It's different.
You can get rejected without being creepy. Those are
Exactly.
very,
Well,
very
okay, I think
different
we're
things.
hung up on the word. Okay, ignore the word. Say you're at an event, right? Your friends, your female friends are introducing you to their female friends, and you get rejected, right? Just normally, and you're calibrated. What happens to the social circle? What happens to the feedback loops?
Nothing happens. Nothing happens.
First off, I can't even think of that example ever happening. If you're calibrated and your female friends are there with you, it doesn't make any difference. Dude, like what happened the other day? We did that Thursday call and Olivia Sully comes in the room and starts screaming at me during my podcast, right? The next night we're out having drinks with her. You want to know why? Because we were where the fun is. Dude, you'd be shocked at like if a girl thinks you're weird and the next day you're just the cool guy, she forgets everything because they're women. They just forget everything. Coco, they like just don't give a fuck at all. Like I promise you. Like again, let me go back to what I said before. Girls who hit me up and be like, I miss you. And I'm like, you don't even have my phone number. Like, I don't know what you're telling me you miss me. Nothing's ever happened between us. Why? Because before I didn't have perceived status and now I do. And in her mind, she feels like I always did. It's crazy. It's like it's like heroin. It makes no sense the way it works. Here's the thing. I've done things your way. Try things my way. Watch what happens. You're going to be like, holy fucking shit. I had no idea it was like this. It's crazy. Like so much irrational behavior is going to come your way in your favor. And it's going to start happening exponentially more for you the more you climb in this area that you are never going to go back. Nobody's taking MOA and being like, yeah, I'm going to go do cold approach after this. Nobody. But the other way around, it's happening constantly. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why, dude. It's not that we don't teach cold approach. It's that cold approach is 2%. Cold approach is inbounding the basketball. It's not shooting free throws. It's not shooting threes. There's just so many other skill sets that you have to learn.
One thing that you can do is use your code approach skills to get 5 female friends and then start going out with them and see what happens. That's it. That's all you have to do. And you will see for yourself what Mike's saying. The same skills that you use to get women, try to actually make 5 female friends. Do not hit on them. Do not fuck them. Just go out with them and see what happens. See how your conversion rate is with these female friends. Stop going out with the code approach guys and go out with the female friends and see what happens.
Things like I only do pretty fucking well from just cold approach with just going out with one friend or 2 friends and just going to a club. Like I do pretty fucking well. So, I do get the point. If you guys are saying this amplifies your results, it's worth a shot. I'll definitely look into it a little bit more. But yeah, I get your point. No, I think it is dope. It does sound cool.
Yeah, Mike. I just had another quick question. So you touched on this a while ago when you were talking about this about social circle in different cities, like for example in New York, right? You were saying how you could basically find the best clubs and all this stuff in New York, and you already had that list set up. How fast do you think you could do that in, for example, a country that's a bit more foreign? Like let's say you go to Qatar or you go to Colombia or you go to
Colombia. Yeah, Colombia's easier. Colombia's way too easy.
Count.
Sure. Yeah, Colombia doesn't count, bro. Colombia is passport bro shit.
Okay, you get my
There's
example,
no middle
right?
class in Colombia. Now, Qatar, it's a little different because one of the problems in the 2 countries you just mentioned is that while there is wealth, there is no middle class. Same thing in Singapore. Like there are outrageously poor people that do live in Singapore. And there are people that are very wealthy that live in Singapore. In the United Arab Emirates, there's not a bunch of girls running around at sorority parties going to clubs that want to meet single men. There are women who are from high class families, and then there are women who are prostitutes. There's no middle class in fucking UAE. And that's the reason why there's such rampant prostitution there. So that the thing in Colombia, there's very little middle class. And when you meet a pretty girl at a club, the likelihood of her actually being married with kids and still prostituting herself is super high. That's why I'm saying, like, does the social circle thing work there? Yes, it does. The problem is you're in a country with no middle class. That's the issue. You don't have this issue in Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland. A little bit to a certain extent, you have this problem in France and Greece, but you don't have this problem in countries that have a middle class. That's the reason why. And like these Eastern European countries, these girls do not sleep with guys on the first date or they're prostitutes. That is like, there's no middle ground. Even Andrew Tate says the same thing. There is no middle ground with these areas. This is why I'm not a big fan of passport bro stuff, because I do feel like in a small way, you're sort of encouraging trafficking. And that's why I'm not a passport bros guy. I would rather, to me, I don't want to play in the YMCA because it's easier. I want to play in the NBA because it's harder. Does that make sense? And for a lot of guys, they don't like that challenge. But for me, I want to play in the NBA because it's harder. Then when I get in the NBA, when I go do something else, that thing is now easier because I have the skill set. I'm not shooting from 22 feet. I'm shooting from 23 feet, 9 inches. I'm shooting from the NBA 3-point line, not the high school 3-point line. Does that make sense? And because I can bench press 300 pounds, I can bench press 200 pounds. I want the best skill set. I don't want a skill set that I have to adapt to my environment to my skill set. I want the best skill set in the best environment. A great example of that, please read the book, The Setup by Dan Bilzerian. He goes over this specifically. He says, Dan Bilzerian says this in chapter 2, go up to every single girl you meet, go up and talk to them, and don't hit on them. Read it. It's in chapter 2 of his book. Read it yourself. He talks about building a social circle. He had Bianca Gezi and Masha Dida, who was on my show. Both of these girls, their whole job was to recruit girls to come to his house for parties. He had girls he was friends with that introduced him to other girls. Bilzerian, say whatever you want about him, has more options than any of us. And this is what he chose to do. He chose to live his life like that. Okay? That's the thing.
I want to touch on I want to touch on the other thing that you just mentioned, where you're talking about whether there's a middle class or not. So, you know, for building a social circle and all this stuff, is it mandatory that you need to go to a country where there is a middle class?
No, it's not mandatory. I'm saying
it's just more ethical.
It's just going to be a little harder. Like I have a bunch of guy friends that live in Colombia and they throw these house parties where there's like food and drinks and there's all these hot girls there. But if you were to actually like go back home to these girls' houses, you'd be like, holy fucking shit, this is terrible. Like they're at these events because this is like this is the best shot they got. It's and it's. I'm not saying expectation. Go ahead, Katie.
One other thing is like I've had more than one friend go on these things and like get hustled by women, like get roofied and all their shit stolen.
Yeah, like some Cardi B shit for sure.
Yeah,
like, that's the issue. Like, so am I saying you can't do it? Like those rich neighborhoods in Mexico City, 100%, because there's like a bunch of rich people there. And can you do it in certain areas of Qatar? For sure. But the problem with a place like Qatar, UAE, or Kuwait City is that in those places, they're so puritanical in the way that they treat women. It's going to be really hard for you to do some of these things. You can do some of it. You can take the Andrew Tate approach where it's me in sunglasses with nice shoes on in a Bugatti and the women behind me are all like dressed conservatively. That's okay. You can get away with that there, but it's a very different type of social circle that you're going to build in those places.
So definitely when you say that it's harder. Yeah.
It's not harder.
So when you say that it's harder, different in the way that the girls that are coming to these events are, you know, more desperate.
Transactional, desperate. Yes.
Transactional.
Desperate and transactional. Yes.
If they hang out with you all day, at the end of the night, they're going to be like, where's my money? So,
hey, by the way, don't take my word for this. Ask the dudes who go to Colombia. They'll tell you this. The thing is, these girls are asking for like $150. So these guys don't give a shit. And then they claim to have a harem. They don't have a harem. They're paying prostitutes. That's what's going on. You see what I'm saying? Again, if that's what you want to do, then go do it. But that's what Passport Bros is a cope. It is a cope. I don't care what anyone says. It's a cope. I absolutely think it's a cope. Now, if you want to say, because here's the thing. If Passport Bros were specifically going to UAE and finding women who were virgins and then marrying them, then I would say it's not a cope. 99% of Passport Bros are going to places where women are cheap and easy and fucking them. That's what they're doing. 99% of Passport Bros are doing that. And they sit there and make the excuse and say, no, I'm doing this because Western women are too wild. And I agree Western women are too wild. I'm not disagreeing with that. My point is that's not why you went to these other countries, because you're looking for good women. You're looking for women who will accept your penis. That's why you went to the other countries. That's the actual reason. And you're coping by saying that you're doing it because they don't have traditional values. If I would believe that if these men were then bringing these women back and marrying them, but I don't see that hardly ever. I don't.
Wait, Michael, you're paying me for this, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm paying Katie more to be on this. Exactly. I pay Katie more to introduce me to women. That's what.
And canceled.
And canceled.
Yeah. So I guess the thought is that in that case, I'm like, you know, doesn't that seem like a bit of a generalization? Because like, of course, a lot of the women in these countries are suffering, but like, you know, they're girls too. They want to have fun and enjoy a lifestyle, and it's like
for sure.
Seem a bit of a generalization. But again, they're all going to ask for money.
It's not all, but it's such a high, like, again, the reason why prostitution is not as rampant in the United States is because girls have OnlyFans and they can, and like 68% of college enrollment or 60% of college enrollment in the United States are females. So we have a legitimate middle class of females in this country. We have females in this country that own cars, that own houses, that own Glocks and Mossberg shotguns. We have women in this country who can pay their own way through stuff. So we have a middle class in this country. In Colombia, find all the women that you know that live by themselves, that own 2 cars, that have guns, that have all this. You're very, very few that you're going to find that are doing that. You don't have a middle class there. You just don't. Okay. There's going to be a couple of girls who go to like really good schools and end up working for the government or end up doing stuff like that. In Colombia, for sure, that happens. But those girls aren't coming to your mansion party. They aren't. That's the difference. And so that's where things get really shady. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going to Colombia. I know a bunch of dudes have real stressful jobs once a quarter, leave their family and go fuck a bunch of prostitutes in Brazil. 100%. I've seen them do it. I don't have a moral stance against it or for it one way or the other. I do think it slightly encourages trafficking, which bothers me to some extent, but maybe more than slightly. That's why I don't do it. Right. That's why I wouldn't do something like that. I would rather, I don't wish it was easier, wish you got better. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But how are you building these social circles in so many different cities and countries?
Yeah. So the thing is, nightlife groups are all connected. So all the nightlife groups in New York, about half of them are owned by Jason Strauss. And so what you do, like, for instance, if you knew a host at Marquee or Omnia or any of the Tal Hakkasan properties here in Las Vegas, and you went to New York and say, hey, I'm about to walk into One Oak or whatever, can you get me in? They're going to call someone there. And because they went through official channels, you just get in very easy. That's how I usually do it.
Also, when you have an Instagram that's good, that's global now. So you could take that wherever you go.
Yeah.
I did that this year.
It would take me all of maybe 6 days to build a social circle in Boston if I moved there. Maybe less. Yep. Hey, Liddy, we can't see your friend. Liddy, get on here. Liddy, let me see your dog. Yeah.
Hey, you guys know Jules.
Hey, Jules. Jules, have you met my single friend Coco here?
What'd you say?
My single friend Coco from New York. He wanted to say hi to you.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I look like shit right now. This is Bella.
There she is.
I miss
Beautiful.
Bella.
Yeah, she's super cute.
Love it. Okay. Hey, before we go, because we did a long time with this, Coco, real quick. Is there anybody else? Can you guys just unmute yourself? If you had something else to say, especially if you came from one of the Game Global Telegram groups and you had something specifically to talk about dealing with, I threw out the gauntlet for astrology too. Astrology, or if you want to talk about cold approach versus social circle, could just unmute yourself. Go ahead and start talking. Anybody else?
All right. To Choco, what happened to me in my experience with cold approach was that I would go to the same club multiple times, and eventually I would meet the security guy. I would meet the girls that go there regularly, and it would get to a point where I could come alone, where I just walk in, there's just a couple friends there, and the people would see me get that compliance, and I would get far more attraction than I would if I went alone in a new club. And what has been your experience on this? Because from what I have seen today, you talk a lot about online game and Tinder, and not so much about clubs. What has been your experience with the nightclub? And have you experienced that snowball effect that happens when you go out regularly?
I mean, what I'm going to say right now is going to be very black-pilled. It's going to sound very black-pilled. So, yeah, my experience has basically been when I go out to clubs, some girls are into black dudes with braids and who look like, they think I look like A$AP Rocky, immediately get with me. I usually pull fairly often. And these girls are definitely into hip hop culture. They're into dark-skinned guys. And some girls, no matter what I say or do, nothing happens because they're just not into me. They'd much rather prefer my white friend. It's going to sound very black pill. You guys, I mean,
no, that's not black. No, that's not black. I mean, I think that's so black pill. Hold on. Yeah. Black pill would be no white girls like me because I'm black. That would be black pill. Or me saying no girls like me because I'm brown. That's black pill. You understand? I know some white girls that will only date black dudes. By the way, hit me up, Coco. I'll send you their IGs. They're only going to date black dudes.
Right. No, I mean, which is what I've been seeing as well. It's just like a lot of white girls are into hip hop and they wear like Air Jordans. They're into that sort of thing. They only go for black guys. Game honestly doesn't matter. My status doesn't matter. They don't give a fuck what I have or what I do. There's barely even any.
I think you might be misinterpreting what status is if you think your status doesn't matter. But let me say a couple things real quick. Like, so for instance, Rollo Tomasi, right, who comes and does my show. Does Rollo ever have to worry about getting into any club in America? Anybody? Does he ever have to worry about getting into any nightclub? No.
Rollo,
why does he not have to? Why does Rollo not have to worry about getting into any nightclub in America?
Because he knows
Jefferson got it right. Because he knows me. Because he's in my tribe. This is another part of social circle that we don't talk about, Coco, is that I set my friends up with girls that they like constantly. Just like girls introduce you to other girls, when you have guys like me who are the hub of a spoke of a social circle, we introduce all my guy friends meet their girlfriends through me. And that's another part of it. This is why guys want to network with you. High status dudes always want to network with me because they understand they're going to come to one of my events and I'm straight up tell them, there's no hookers here, dude. There's no hookers. There's no money. You're not going to money whip any of these girls. But you are welcome to come, have a great time, just be respectful. The dudes respect that because they're tired of being around hookers. And they're like, fuck yeah, man, I'm going to come to Michael's events. I always have such a great time. You see what I'm saying? Hey, Coco, you want to come judge my bikini competition? I need 5 judges for this bikini competition. Dudes are like, fuck, of course, Michael, I'll be there in 2 seconds. Rollo doesn't have to ever worry about getting into a club in America because he knows me. You see what I'm saying? That's another part of social circle that Cold Approach doesn't grasp. Okay.
No,
all right, here. Can I read 2 super chats? Hold on. Can I read 2 super chats real quick? First super chat, shout out to Bungalows for Bachelors. Making a social mistake isn't going to destroy you. Ask Kylie about me, Sam, accidentally drinking her water at MGM, and then ask her if we're still friends anyway. That's pretty funny. Yeah. Another one. I got another super chat here from The Art of Violence. What caused the fallout between you and RSD? There's no fallout between me and RSD. Me and RSD are totally cool. I had Max on recently. Eventually, I'm going to have Jeffy on. We're working out some the fucking video guys for RSD, which is Jono and John Duquette and Ibrahim. They come and do all the video of all of my events in Los Angeles. There's nothing wrong with me and RSD. I like what RSD does. They teach something different than what I teach, and there's no issue between me and RSD whatsoever. There was a problem before, but it has nothing to do with anybody I just named, or Owen. There's no problem with me and Owen. There was a problem with something that happened before. It has nothing to do with the people I just named, but it's not a problem between me and RSD. I invite those guys to everything I do, and I really like those guys, and they are definitely a blueprint for the content I make today. A lot of it came from what RSD was doing originally. And when Owen first started making videos, I was right there next to him, watching him edit those things on Premiere a long time ago. So no problem between me and RSD. Cool. I think that's all the super chat. I probably missed some while I was talking to you guys. Anybody else super chats? I'll read your super chats out loud. Go ahead, guys.
All right. And just to finish with Coco, and I listened to what you say about the racial thing, but I am also black. And I have had experience where I would get rejected. I would put it on race, play the race card. And then like 1 year later, fuck the girl. 6 months later. The thing is, you say that you wouldn't believe that Michael B. Jordan would fuck any of the girls you think rejected you because of a race. Because I know that there's like a percentage of girls that will consciously make the choice. I will only fuck white guys. But wouldn't you think that the higher status dude in that environment, maybe the bartenders have a lot of status in that club environment, but better game, better status, wouldn't you think that would a higher conversion rate would be possible instead of playing it on race?
I mean, let's put it this way, right? Like I do pretty fucking well.
I want to bring up an analogy.
And night game. And the question is, most girls don't even talk to me before we start making out at clubs or go home. Like sometimes even going home with me, right? It's just because they're into my look or whatever. It's just they're into my physical appearance. And the question becomes, why would status matter in that case? Like if they don't even talk to me before they make out with me, who gives a fuck?
You have status. That's the thing.
Yeah, you have status. Like status isn't.
You're confusing. You're saying the word. Yeah, you're conflating something. Status is what you're describing. You're just describing it in a different way. A guy can be good looking enough to where it overcomes everything else. He can also be rich enough or funny enough or have enough. Like so, you think of status as one thing. So here's status, and under the status are the subset of wealth, looks, money, charisma, humor, connections, female friends, pre-selection, all this stuff, they're all under the subset of status. So you're saying one person's good looking and one person has status. No, good looking is a form of status. That's when we say status or prestige, we're talking about like from the evolutionary psychology definition of status that Dr. Buss talks about. That's what we mean by it.
And when you're saying that the girls are into you because you're black, the fact that you're black is status.
I don't think it's just black. It's just like, say, if a girl finds me attractive in a club, like, and we've looked at each other like for like 2 seconds, we start making out. There's no game. There's no. I don't care about my social access or like access to scarce resources. They just think, if they think I'm good looking, they usually end up going home with me or making out. So that's where.
Wait a minute. Try to like think of this concept. Okay, I'm going to go back like 30 years here, unfortunately, but it's the best example. Me and my buddies would rent a house, and like 2 or 3 of us, we rent a decent sized house, no big deal. And we could all go to the bar and try to pick up a girl, and sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. Or we can make these stupid little flyers. I was like 19, 20 years old. Go to the lakes in Minnesota, only give them to the prettiest girls at the lakes. Do that for 3 or 4 days. Maybe, and so then the party comes on Saturday, and guess what? We didn't invite any guys. Somehow guys found out, but it was stacked with pretty girls that got invited by me and my buddies who lived in the house where we were throwing the party, and it was like shooting fish in a barrel. So I would say this is programs like that on steroids.
Original.
Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, completely.
What do you think? What do you think of what I said, Mike? Does that make sense?
No, definitely that makes sense. Absolutely.
So wasn't it be, and it's a lot more fun setting that up and then throwing the party and being the guy at the party. You got the status. You're the one that invited them. So, and the whole process was fun the whole way through. Where going to the bar and pitching for one girl and no, that's not the fun part. It's fun. The fun part's the build up and then everybody showing up and then you're the man. Right? Have you done that? Have you ever done that with your buddies, thrown a party and, done something similar to that?
I have, no, completely. And my results didn't seem that much different from just walking into a random club and trying to pick up girls. And again, like, I mean,
but isn't it more fun when they're all in your house?
I mean, it is fun. No,
yeah.
It's definitely fun. It's definitely fun. And I'm talking about in terms of actual like pickup. I think it seems completely fine for me to just walk into a club without having female friends introduce me and all that stuff. Just boom.
Like I'll say what
like
I'm
they're both
afraid.
fine. They're both fine, but like one is just more efficient. Like there's no like good or bad in this debate.
Here's my concern, Tristan. Legitimately, here's my concern. He comes out here in August and he does a bikini competition and he actually sees what's possible and it actually makes him unhappy. I'm legitimately, Coco, if you're fine with what you're doing, I almost don't want you to come out here and do this. Because what's going to happen is what you thought was a 10 is a 6, and you're going to be like, holy fucking shit, what was I doing? I've seen that happen to guys where they start getting depressed once they get into this. So, I mean, it's up to you. That's the only thing. I believe you that if you feel like it's fine, bro, then stick with it. That's my only concern is that this may be a little too far for some guys to go. Like you're not playing at the $5 a hand table. You're playing at the $10 million hand table. And when the hottest girl you've ever seen in your life goes on a date with you and then rejects you, it's a whole lot worse than anything you've ever experienced in your whole life because you're playing at the high limit table now. So internally how the rejection affects you is going to change. That's something that I've actually seen happen with guys before. They're just used to getting the average cute girls that they get on a regular basis. And they've never been around like stunning models before. And then when they do that, then it changes their entire perspective and their dopamine response is reset to a higher level. It's something Bilzerian complains about. So that would be my only concern if you did this.
That happened to me when I came back to
yeah, that's exactly what happened to Tristan. Like Tristan was like, what he thought was hot, he understood that until Tristan started going to Maxim parties and to play with to bikini competitions. Then his whole demeanor, what was hot was completely reset. To the point where most men would feel like it's like unrealistic.
No, I agree with you. I mean, it's possible that the results are completely amplified in that scenario, in that environment.
Yeah. All right, man. Hey, let me try to get some of these questions. If you guys want to ask Coco a question, you can. If you guys have other questions specifically about this, let's do that. Pasado, what's your question?
Yeah, I got one. What's up? So based on the whole conversation we had now, like a question to both you, Michael, and Coco. So we have two sets of tools to achieve a result here. And one is for the one and one is for the other. So let's say like there's like a guy who has never heard of both of them, comes like from, I don't know, Alaska, 18 years old, bumped into a major city, and now gets into this call. What would you say to somebody who has no experience whatsoever? Is there a benefit to look into, let's say, the other that you're not a fan of? Or would you say completely go with the one? Or is there a benefit to taking aspects of both based on what you talked about now and taking it all into consideration?
There's aspects to both. I just think the proportionality from people who teach cold approach, it's way more proportional to cold approach. They say, I do just fine when I go on Tinder or I go to these clubs, and that's fine. The problem is they don't realize there's a need. It's almost like, it's very much like the guy who gets a better job where he goes from $17 an hour to $23 an hour versus the guy who gets into real estate and starts getting residual income from multiple properties that he owns. The guy who raised it, but cold approach is very much as like a salary, and social circle is very much like getting residual income from investment. It's, in fact, that's a perfect one-to-one analogy between cold approach and social circle. The guy who's getting paid more for their individual investment or being paid more per hour, that person thinks that they're winning. The person who owns like 17 properties and is able to charge rent for them and actually charges more than the mortgage is worth and is, living free in his own house because of it, and then, gets a tax write-off on one of the houses, that guy, and then gets to write off the depreciation for all the homes that he owns, that guy is actually winning, but the other guy thinks he's winning. I think that's where the difference is. Does that make sense?
Yes,
like they're both fine. I just think proportionally what happens is guys who are in cold approach, because they don't know how to do social circle, and let me say this one more time, no one has ever, in the pickup community, no one has ever taught social circle. No one has ever taught it. They've said the words and kind of vaguely understood the concepts, but no one's ever taught it. You go show me the videos where those guys are being like, yeah, have hundreds of female friends, but no, you won't find any. Now, especially now, since I started my program, you'll find them all over the place. But before that, you won't find any people saying this. So because of that, there's been a misconception, and it really is the same thing as like Pasado. We go out and we try to play soccer, but all we do is the inbound, and we don't do anything else but the inbound. After a while, it's like, okay, we've done the inbound. It's like, no, soccer is just inbounding. It's like, no, soccer is goalkeeping. Soccer is passing the ball. Soccer is, shots on goal. Soccer is defense. Like, no, we're just doing the inbounding. You spend a few minutes on inbounding and then you do other things. With cold approach, what they've done is spent all their time on cold approach, and they haven't done the other things. How many guys I see that do cold approach pickup who have terrible fucking Instagrams, fucking terrible Instagrams that is just hurting them every time they like have a girl, they have a date set up, and the girl sees their Instagram and it's just terrible. And like all the guys in MOA know this, 95% of Instagrams are terrible for men, just fucking horrible. And so that's the issue, is like they didn't work enough on the right things. Does that make sense? You already have big calves, so all you do is do calf workouts every day in the gym and don't do any upper body. That's essentially how cold approach is taught. That's my problem with it.
Got it. Okay. So you would say you just go right into it and don't think about the anything. Because what I like is what Graco said. It's like, okay, use your skills to just like meet, let's say, 5 women and then take it from there. So there's like a little bit of aspect.
Yeah, but for me to meet 5 women, for me to meet 5 women and then become friends with them so they can introduce me to other women is not cold approach pickup. It's not cold approach pickup. I did not describe cold approach pickup. What I described was you going out, meeting people, and becoming friends with them. That is the antithetical result to cold approach pickup. Cold approach pickup doesn't ever want you to be friends with girls, right? That's the difference. I don't let girls put me in the friend zone. I make friends with girls. There's a difference. And people in cold approach, most of them don't understand that. They'll see all my female friends and be like, Michael's simping on all these girls. Yeah, I'm simping at these parties I didn't pay for with these girls introducing me to more girls. I'm the one who's simping. Got it. Make sure. Let me know more about that. No, they because they don't understand the difference between making female friends and then having girls put you in the friend zone. Do you see what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So it's 100% just go in. Okay. What about you, Coco? What do you think after what you heard so far? How to go about it if you come from like zero, you're starting out?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think the fundamentals of self-improvement are still the same for both. You still have to work on your mindset. You still have to be a confident dude. You still have to be decent looking. You still have to go to the gym. You still have to have some form of game or charisma or personality, whatever you want to call it. And then the approach to actually meeting people, your social life. I think some people would like to just go to clubs, meet girls, casual way, right? You call it night game. another approach to go in apps and really optimize your profile to be one of the top 1% male profiles on Tinder and Bumble, actually meet girls online. And the other approach is social circle. I think there's no right or wrong answer here. Honestly, everything fucking works. And I think each thing is different for each guy. I mean, I've completely changed my views. I think social circle does work, but I do think night game and dating apps do work, right? I mean, that's predominantly how humans have been meeting each other for a long time. Even before social circle came out as a program. So yeah, I would say try to explore everything, see what you like. I think everything works. There's no right or wrong answer. That's my take on it.
Well, I don't think everything works. I think a lot of stuff works. I don't think everything works. Like I don't think barking at women works. I don't think spinning girls around and picking them up works. I don't think the hand of God works. I don't. I know it doesn't work. So like that, I don't think everything works. I think the part about like trying different things out and then learning what you want to do is for sure. The problem is when guys from cold approach think about social circle, they just think about it. They don't look at it. If you were to look at my clients, you'd be like, oh, wait a second, this is not what I expected. And then what they do after that is try to explain away the results of my clients instead of actually trying social circle, which very few of them do. And any of them that do end up joining and doing social circle. Like there's nobody on this call that's like, I did the social circle thing for a while and now I don't do it anymore. Nobody says that. There's PUAs who think they were doing social circle because they watched 1 2-hour video, but they weren't actually doing it. Because I go to their Instagram, I'm like, okay, let me see your Instagram. And it's garbage. It's complete and total shit. Like bunch of close-ups. Why do like dudes who have a bunch of close-ups of their face on Instagram, are you trying to attract homosexual men? Why are you doing that? Women don't want to see a bunch of close-ups of your face. It is so bad. It is such bad Instagram game. But guys don't know this. Why? Because they're trying to make Instagrams that are female versions of male Instagrams, that are male versions of female Instagrams. And they're doing it wrong because they don't understand the fundamentals of social circle because they don't talk to women about it. And that's the reason why they get it wrong. Anyway, Dax, did you have something you want to say?
No, sorry. I'm muted by accident.
All right, cool. Can we please mute yourself, Dax? Yusuf, what's your question?
Well, my question was actually unrelated to what you guys were talking about, so I don't mind being the last one.
Say it again.
My questions were unrelated to what you guys were talking about.
Oh, go ahead. Go ask it anyway.
Yeah, I had 3 actually. So I wanted to know the difference about when giving something to someone becomes taking advantage of you. Like when you know that person that has no interest in you and only is interested in what you can bring, like people or inviting them to alcohol or free clubs. It's like I have this kind of difficulty to discern between, like, okay. Yeah.
When people take advantage of you?
Yeah, like the difference between taking advantage of you and just having fun.
Okay, so let's look at it like this, right? We'll call it simping. Simping would be an unequal exchange of value. So that's the first thing I'd look for, Yusuf, is are you getting an unequal exchange of value? I have my friends who, like my friend Kaylin threw my birthday party. So for her birthday party, I'm going to take her and her friends out to dinner because she threw my birthday party. That's not an unequal exchange of value, but we're just friends. Okay. That's the thing you need to ask yourself. If people are consistently taking advantage of you. Now, here's the thing. If people are like, realize that one of my events is going to get them a bunch of social media interactions and they come to my event, then I'm totally fine with them taking advantage of me. I don't really care. Does that make sense? It depends on what it costs me. And for the most part, these things generally don't cost me anything. So it's not an issue of mine. But you still need to be able to set a boundary. Like I can't have, like, if some girl comes over to your place drunk all the time and just like super annoying and sloppy and drinks all your alcohol and then leaves all the time, eventually you can be like, don't come over anymore. So you need to be able to figure out what those boundaries are for yourself and then hold those boundaries. Here's the part that a lot of people don't get, Yusuf, is this idea that when I set the boundaries, more people are going to not like me. No, when you set boundaries, more people like you. More people. Okay. A great example, like a great metaphor for this is the nightclub that no one can get into. And there's a big line of people outside and everyone's complaining about the nightclub. What happens the next week? Those same people are in that same line trying to get into the nightclub, even though they were complaining, because that nightclub set a boundary on how attractive or rich you need to be or how much status you need to have in order to get into the nightclub. Does that make sense to you, Yusuf?
Yeah. So actually, the next part of the question will be how to like increase that obedience loop, like, and that reciprocation.
So my compliance loop. No, yeah, we don't have an obedience loop. They're not dogs. Yeah. So the compliance loop. So the thing is, what you do with the compliance loop, think of the compliance loop more like a funnel or like a sift, like you're sifting out almost like those gold pans where they would get rid of the sand and then they'd have the gold stuck at the top, you know, when you're sifting for gold. Think of the compliance loop like that. The compliance loop is just sitting there. It does two things. It leads the interaction in the direction you want to go, and it builds attraction. It does both things because over time, what happens, again, let me say this again, women do not sleep with you because of your intent. They sleep with you because of your status. And over time, if they continue to apply, if they continue to comply over and over again, it builds status in themselves. Extreme examples of this would be Stockholm syndrome. That'd be like a crazy example of this, where somebody has become so invested in you that they actually start to love you, even though you captured them. Another example would be nurses who continually take care of patients. And then eventually they're so invested in the patient, they fall in love with their patients. That would be an example, extreme examples. Most of you are not going to experience that, but these would be examples where people who consistently invest in you over and over again start to convince themselves that they're attracted. That's what the compliance loop does. It takes the interaction in the direction you want to go. Maybe it's back to your place, and it builds attraction over time. Understand? When they fall off the compliance loop, you take a step back and then maybe you try something again 5 minutes later. But if they consistently fall off, you have so much abundance in your life that you don't give a shit that they don't go down your compliance loop.
Do you actually have like any suggestions in terms of books or authors or anything related to that topic?
About compliance loops and like that? Yeah, the setup by Dan Bilzerian.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome. Next question is Robert Pond. What's your question?
I had my hand raised, and I already talked about it earlier.
All right, awesome, Robert. Thank you.
I need to put it down.
Thank you so much. Gabrielle, what's your question? Muted. No audio. Something's wrong with your audio, man. It looks like you switched maybe on or off Bluetooth.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, do it one more time. Unmute yourself one more time, Gabrielle.
Can you hear me now?
Sure can. Yeah, lost you again. Something happened. Heard the first words. Can you hear me now? And then everything else went mute.
All right. I just switched to the notebook microphone. I have a test, but stop speaking every once in a while.
Okay.
And the question is, you once talked about primary driver emotions or something like that.
Yeah.
And if you have a peer group that doesn't respect you, like maybe they are into self-development, maybe they know about RSD, they admire you, the other guy, Jordan Peterson, all this shit, but they constantly they treat you like someone who is not that good. And so they are around the right influences, the conversations are productive, but the treatment shuts down your winner effect. Because as far as I can understand, status is measured by how people treat you, not by your title.
Their perception of you. Yeah, their perception of you. Exactly. Even if you have a bunch of people hate you, that increases your status. Yeah.
And like, what would you say? Should someone distance himself from a peer group that pushes them, that sees them as low value? Or just stay around and do cool shit and wait for it to change?
So I don't completely understand the question, but I think this might be the answer. I reward good behavior and I punish bad behavior. That's really the answer. Like when you set boundaries and you make it. So again, if someone talks shit about me behind my back, I don't say anything to them. I don't kick them out of my life. I don't say anything. I just don't speak to them anymore. And I don't speak about them. Getting to be my friend, there's a benefit to that. There's a benefit to being my friend. You get to find all these places to network. You get to find all these cool jobs. You get to meet all these beautiful women. Those are the benefits of being my friend. If you talk shit about me behind my back, you just don't get those benefits anymore. There's no fuck you, get out of my life, kiss my ass. I set boundaries. When I learned how to completely set boundaries, which is something I learned in the US military, when I learned how to set these boundaries, more people like me now, not fewer people when I set the boundaries. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So you set the boundaries, and then when people comply with your boundaries, then they get rewarded with your attention and your resources and your time. When people do not comply with your boundaries, they don't get rewarded. Does that make sense?
Yes, and you don't make drama about it. You just
You
like
do not make
back
drama about
off,
it. Yes,
and
exactly.
if they find out,
Yeah.
they find out. All right.
Exactly.
And
Unless, hold on, there's a few exceptions. Like that thing with Primal 2 weeks ago actually helped my channel. We gained subscribers from it. That was fun to do. That's an example where someone doesn't. He did sort of accept my, like he did a debate on my channel, which is actually pretty cool, you know, of him to do that, because he got eviscerated for 6 hours, for however long. And then he did a 6.5 hour video about me the next day. So there's a few examples where you could actually like use the haters to your benefit, but for the most part, I reward good behavior and I punish bad behavior. But I don't even punish bad behavior. I think I've gotten to the point now where I just ignore bad behavior, meaning I don't not ignore, like I accept it, ignore, and I don't comply or don't allow it around me anymore. Understand?
Right. And even Primal, he complied with the rules of the debate. He joined, and when you ordered him to be silent, he was silent, and he was cooperating.
I agree with that. The problem with him is that he could never be wrong. Like when I completely caught him on something where he's wrong, like you buy your YouTube followers, he couldn't admit that he was wrong. Now, the next day on his video, he did admit that he was wrong, but he said that he did it on purpose. He said, I was trying to escape from Rolo and Michael, so I threw a grenade in there. That's exactly what he says in his video. It was really interesting to me because that was one of the issues. Like, he's wrong on almost everything, but that was one of the issues where he's like completely and totally wrong and provably wrong. And I wanted to see how his cognitive bias was going to be able to rationalize him being that wrong. And the way he did it by saying what he said in his video, I had planned to do this all along, because he's delusional. I actually think Primal is a narcissist. And I think he's developed narcissism to cope with the fact that he's in a really fucked up situation in life. I think that's what's going on. The whole belief of I am the origin of my own status, that's nonsense. You're not the origin of your own status. You're the origin of your own self-esteem. Your status is what other people think about you. So him, basically, if you're the origin of your own status, you can choose to make your status a 10. Well, then why go to the gym? Why not just stay fat? Why not just keep making stupid YouTube videos that hardly anyone watches? Why improve at all? He's just the origin of his own status. And of course, that's incredibly dangerous to believe that. You could be the origin of your own self-esteem. I believe he believes he has high status, but he also internally has very low self-esteem. And so that's why he gets into the situation that he gets to.
All right. And when you say about taking photos with scarce resources, can you give me some examples? Because you talked about not using money, but when you say scarce resources, I immediately think about the sports car and the watch.
Yeah. Okay. Let's look at one real quick. Give me 1 second. All right, we're having trouble. For some reason, it's not loading. I'll get to it in a little bit. Oh, here we go. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find one. Bro, this is hella slow. God damn. You see this right here on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is access to, now he does have some pictures and cars, but this is access to scarce resources without using money.
You mean access to scarce resources. Hard to get to?
Yeah, the place is high status. I know for a lot of you guys who travel a lot or have a passport, you know the majority of Americans don't have a passport. Travel shows high status. We just don't think of it that way, but it does, right? He doesn't own this place in Morocco, but he's in Marrakesh. You see that?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So access to scarce resources, a lot of people misconstrue that with me saying you need to show money. That's not what I mean. I don't mean you need to show money.
All right. Thank you, Michael. And one last thing, you seem to, so most people when talking, they seem to be trying to prevent embarrassing themselves and promoting what they want to say. It's like a pedal on the gas and on the brake. You seem to only go forward. You don't seem to be like mediating yourself. How can you let go and be so masculine in a sense?
Yeah, it's so interesting because I just had this discussion with my partners, and they didn't want me to have like people saying negative things about my about my program on here. And I was like, no, I want people to say negative things on. It was like, how does that help sales? And I was like, it helps sales because I can deal with any objection. It helps sales because I use rationality to promote my ideas. This is never going to be, this is what makes my program different from a lot of other self-help coaches, gurus, mysticism people, preachers, etc., whatever. I want to vote opposing viewpoints on here because I am uniquely built to debate. That is what I enjoy doing. And so that's why I never have a problem with people coming on and saying, that's again, what did we start the call with today? Looking for people who don't agree with what I do, right? What did we do last time? Looking for people. I was trying to get Gia on here, looking for people who believe in astrology, looking for people who think that cold approach is more important, looking for people who think I'm a scam, whatever. I want those people on because they don't affect me. I think they make our brotherhood stronger by allowing those people to come in and talk. You know who I learned this from? I learned this from Warren Buffett. Every year at Warren Buffett's shareholder meeting in Omaha, Nebraska, he has one person come up before he goes up and explains why you should short Berkshire Hathaway stock. Did you guys know this? He has a guy come up there and explain why Berkshire Hathaway is going to fall apart. Every year he has a different guy come up there and do that. I learned this from him, and it builds more trust. I think you guys understand. I never put it under the rug whenever somebody doesn't like something we're doing. I bring it to the forefront so that we can deal with the objection together. Or maybe we can't. Maybe someday somebody will come up with some. I was going to have a lady on today. Grant really didn't want me to have this girl on. And she was going to come in here and she was expressing that it's immoral for us to have women in bikinis. Period. Like Kylie heard the conversation. Well, it wasn't immoral. Like our marketing was immoral because women were dressed in bathing suits. Immoral. I'm not going to not have her. He didn't want me to have her on. I wanted to have her on because I just like, I never want there to be, yeah, I like Michael's program, but he doesn't really talk about this. There's nothing I don't want to go after. The reason is because I don't lie to you guys ever. Other programs, you're going to notice they don't want you to talk to other clients. They don't want clients talking to other clients because if one of you has a complaint and shares it with the other clients, then you end up with this mass exodus of clients like what happened. I won't say their names, but some other coaches that are out there. You don't see that with my program because I want clients to talk to other clients because they only have good things to say about the program. That's why I do that. So it's a great question. The reason why is because I genuinely and truly believe in what I'm saying. That's why it's easy.
All right. And I was asking about your internal mental process, not necessarily the social debate of inviting people. It is the same thing because you truly believe you can let go and jump all in.
I think caffeine helps a lot. I just really like talking and I just got practice a lot with talking. My internal mental process is I have something that I want to share with you guys and I do it out of selflessness and I do it out of a need to serve. And when you do things like, again, you guys will notice when you are out there dealing with homeless people, like for instance, let's say you did Model Citizen Fund and you guys had a bunch of backpacks for homeless people. You're going to notice that all these, you're going to go to the event and you're like, man, I look like shit. Oh man, there's that pretty girl. Man, I want that pretty girl to like me. And then as soon as you see homeless people like missing legs and you're giving them food, you won't give a fuck about any of that shit. You'll only care about the fact that you get to serve. And you'll only be grateful for the fact that you're allowed to serve. That's what happens with me every time I do an MOA call. I get the ability to serve, right? I have a bunch of female friends that I respect very much, but they're putting themselves in bad positions, not bad positions, less advantageous positions. It's not bad to them. Some of these girls have millions of dollars and no boyfriend. That's not a bad position. That's not. To some women, they'd say that's a bad position. If you're a girl and you got $3 million in the bank account because you were fucking on OF, but no high status guy wants to date you, is that a bad position? That's a matter of perspective. It's bad or good. But I do want them to know the reason why a high status guy doesn't want to date you is because you did guy girl porn on OF. Does that make sense? I make people aware of the consequences for their behavior, but I don't hate them and I try not to judge them ever. I just try to keep it mathematical. I try to explain to them, like for instance, for me, like I'm 6'2" and I make, a pretty decent living. If you were to say, what are the percentage of guys like me who are unmarried and not obese? It's like 0.2% of the population. What are the percentage of women who, we don't care about how much they make and, a certain age group, it ends up being like 14% of the population. That's something that I think a lot of women don't recognize. They really think that this high status man that they fucked at a concert one time is just available for them anytime they want. And she's right. He is available for sex. He's not available for a serious relationship. And they don't figure that out until it's too late. And next thing you know, they've had sex with 15 power forwards. They're 32 years old and they're wondering why a guy won't pick them. It's just something I want them to understand. It doesn't mean I hate them, and I don't necessarily think they're delusional. They've just been rewarded incorrectly, right? The world has given them incorrect stimulus, and that's what's happened. Make sense?
That was epic.
As long as you feel like you're serving, Gabriel, then I get a ton. Whenever I'm doing charity events, I'm never nervous because I'm serving someone else. Got it?
Got it. That was truly
that
epic.
service.
Thank you.
That serviceness gives me gratitude, which gives me courage. Awesome. Here we go. Mark, what's your question?
Sorry, making sure I didn't illegally rebroadcast the NHL.
Okay. Hilarious. Yeah, I think you get like 30 seconds before that happens. But yeah, that's really funny. I've heard that before.
Yeah. What I was going to say is that I've raised my status, so I still keep attracting users. Like more people know me. I have a better Instagram, etc. But what I'm still getting is people like, I went out with a woman from China who wanted me to pick up boxes in her name from a courier and stuff like that. And
what? How much heroin was in the
cut
boxes?
off later, who had a Latin Kings. Some woman who I met and cut off because I saw they had a Latin Kings tattoo, and basically women like that.
Hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with girls and Latin Kings. But they stab, they don't slash.
And you're going to have to catch up with me somehow off this YouTube about the exclusive place I went to last weekend, because they actually had a no social media policy.
Sure.
I came up empty from that because of that.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. Some people want to, again, it tends to be some of the most shallow people I've ever met that are like, I had to take a break from social media. I just get away from it to help my mental clarity. I'm like, no, you're addicted to social media. We are an MOA. We are social. In MOA, we are social media producers. We are not social media consumers. That's the difference.
It was an entire like club, or basically a country club, and they have a no.
I've seen a ton of places do that. I've seen a ton of places do that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Basically, yeah. Thanks.
Awesome. All right, man. Did you have a question, Mark?
If I can just chime in, like Michael, for someone like that, for him, for example, do you think the value add is actually going to these exclusive parties, recording content, or is it just simply fucking working on his looks, just looks maxing? Like, what do you think is?
So you're saying, or there is no or, there's all of it.
I think
number 3 in MOA.
But like in his case, for example, I would say there's a huge potential for like looks maxing. Wouldn't you say?
That's correct. But there's also potential to make more money and to network more. There's also potential for him to meet women that introduce him to more women. The answer is not or, the answer is all.
No, but does creating content at exclusive parties really matter that much? That's my main
Hell
question.
fucking yes, it does.
Hell yes.
It's so, oh my God, bro.
Yeah, are you fucking kidding me?
Yes. Fuck yes. Oh my God, bro. Hey, Coco, do you want us to go through your IG?
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I could like already tell like you're probably gonna have the issue of the close-ups. Am I wrong?
Close-ups? Yeah, I do have a couple of selfies and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a couple though. Like if it's any more than 2, that's way too many. Again, women don't wake up in the morning and be like, man, I want to look up close-ups of men. That's not how it works. They want to see what you can do. They don't want to see they want to see what you can do. They don't want to see what you look like. They only need like maybe 1 or 2 instances. Can somebody post it in the chat? Somebody had your IG, I think, earlier, and they lost it. Ah, fuck. Is it? What is it, man? I'm sorry, I can't find it.
Yeah, it's Hot Choco RJ.
Hot
Choco RJ.
All right, so this is fine. I probably would have face apped the girls. I definitely would have had something that's a little less blurry. Like really poor lighting in this. That's an issue. This also, I think this is a great idea for a photo in the background. Is this CGI or did you go somewhere for this?
No, it's actual place in Singapore.
Oh, cool. You're a little too close to the camera in that one. This one's cool because it shows this. This one provides nothing and does nothing. You're in an elevator. You understand? Now, here's the thing with these right here. I know you're saying things. The problem is it's just close-ups of your face over and over again. You also seem to have an issue with your camera lens being fuzzy on pretty frequent occasions. In fact, it's pretty fuzzy now. Again, this doesn't provide any value. This is a picture, a selfie picture that girls take in a thing. We're also in the same shirt here. This one's good right here. I like this. I think you could be a little bit further away. It looks like you're face apping your face there on that one. This one is really unnecessary. Like, this is a grinder profile, dude. Like, you have to admit that. This is, I really like some of these, you're just way too into the photo. You're so focused on your own physical appearance, and I think you're missing the point on a lot of stuff that you're doing. That's the issue, I would say. But these for sure, like, I would archive these. There's just way too many of like close-ups of your face here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, those were just reels.
Yeah, I know the reels, but like, you pick a different. You can choose a cover photo for your reels.
Yeah, sure.
You see what I'm saying? Again,
Yeah.
this is again. I'm not saying that you're like this. My point is, if we were to look at a gay man trying to attract gay men, it would look exactly like what you're posting.
Fair enough.
That would be an issue. Now, ready? Let's point at a guy who's really killing it with girls online. Okay. Let's look at the difference between what he's doing and what you're doing. Okay. Let's look at this. Right. Do you see how small he is in the photo? And he's showing what he can do and where he can go, not what he looks like. Do you see this? And he's getting thousands of likes from things like this. Do you see the difference? He's showing what he can do. He's showing his competency as a man versus trying to show his jawline. He is showing his jawline a little bit. He's also a coach, so he's got a lot of close-ups. But do you see the difference? Even with this is a reel, but it's way better as far as like the composition and the photos. None of the photos are blurry. You see that? This is a great example. Do you see? This is a photo of what he can do, not what he looks like.
What do you think matters more?
What you can do. Competency matters way more than what you look like. Women do not put physical attractiveness nearly at the same scale that men do.
Even you're talking about like 18 to 24-year-old women as well, like younger girls.
Yeah, definitely 18 to 24-year-old women.
Absolutely. That's not even a question.
I mean, I still think looks are paramount for that age range.
Yeah, I think you think looks are paramount because you're good looking. I think that's why you're talking your own book. I think if you did stuff like this, you would do a lot better with getting girls. Like I'm looking there, you have like 2 comments. He's at 600 likes and like 100 comments, something like that. He's just doing better because he's posting better photos than you are. These are just better photos than what you're posting.
No, I agree. The quality of the pictures are a lot better, but would you say that matters more than looks itself, like traveling, showing what to do, and whatnot?
Yeah, like again, dude, I think you're talking your book, and also I don't think you're helping your coaching program either by saying looks matter.
Because I've experimented with like really like high status profiles on Tinder versus just straight up selfie.
Not Tinder. We don't care about Tinder. We like pretty girls.
Tinder's a proxy, but Tinder's a proxy.
Tinder is not a proxy for Instagram. Tinder is not a proxy for Instagram. Tinder is a proxy for thirsty people and less attractive women trying to get with dudes, specifically intending to hook up. Instagram is a show of status. Do not use Tinder and Instagram. They are not correlated. You don't use the same photos. It is not the same thing. This is a better photo than anything you posted. That's what I'm saying. And it got more engagement than anything you posted because he posted it that way. Does that make sense? Show what you can do, not what you look like. Okay? That's the difference. I didn't see 1,683 likes on any of your posts. I'm just going to be honest with you.
I think fair enough. Go to the first 3 posts. I mean, I think those are fairly good picks before the reels. I still think looks are paramount. I mean, that's my take on it.
Right, but you think that because you're good looking. That's the point I'm trying to make. Your client, this doesn't help your clients at all. And also, you look face app right here. You look like somebody used face app on you, and it looks fake. This is not a good photo, dude. Like
so out of curiosity, if looks are paramount, how do you
coach men? That's
how do you coach?
Yeah, why are you prettier than the girl?
There's a big thing called looks max saying you can improve your looks. And I don't think it's genetic. I mean, I think you can improve your looks a lot.
How about combining both and then smash it?
I mean, I agree. That'll be the best take. Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna improve your life overall, that would be the best take. I completely agree.
All dials up.
Real quick, guys calling. Hold on. hold on. Guys calling you Chad does not help your business. This is the worst possible thing someone can call you for your business.
It's just my friend. It's just my friend commenting.
I understand that, but but you're kind of proving my point. It's better if you're not that good looking trying to coach men, if that's what you're doing this for. Does that make sense?
I mean, I had to looks max, and I think looks maxing is a real thing.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit off base. I think you're naturally a good-looking guy and have used that to your advantage to get women, and then you're considering that looks maxing. You're not a bodybuilder, so I don't think you've looks maxed. I think you're already a good-looking dude, and I think you've done a little bit to looks max. Like you're not like your teeth aren't fucked up, but I think then you thinking you're going to do that with your clients is a little delusional. Like most of your clients are not going to be able to do that. Most of your clients need other avenues to show what they can do, not what they look like. Looks 16%, maybe 10%.
You think so?
Yes. And for some women, it's even less than that. For some women, it's 50%. For some women, it's 50%. Some women who date male strippers. That is a minority of women.
How do you break down status then? Like, what do you think are the biggest factors within that?
For each woman, it's a different thing. For each woman, it's different. Okay. But how do I break it down? I would say like status, like as far as fame, recognizability, who knows you is going to go 1. And then after that is going to go pre-selection, meaning showing like other alignments from other people towards you. Then number 3 is probably going to be money. And then number 4 is going to be looks. I'll show you guys who have a lot of money and they do way better with women than you do. The 100% they do better with women than you do. Not all of them. A lot of them spend money and don't know what they're doing. But they spend money and have a little game and they're not that good looking. And they're just with like 8 or 9 10s every week. They're doing way better than you.
And you're saying
they're not better than me. Huh?
And you're saying they're not good looking.
And they're not good looking. Yeah. I really do think that, again, my girlfriend's 21 years old. I'm 45, dude. I know what I'm talking about. Like I think what you're saying is because you're good looking, you're confusing you being good looking with like, it's almost like a guy who's 7 feet tall, plays in the NBA, looking at his friends like, why don't you guys all just become 7 feet tall? You can play in the NBA like me. It doesn't work like that. I don't think it's really beneficial for your business for you to be taking modeling pictures, trying to teach guys game. I think it's a really bad move for you. Guys should not be calling you Chad. That's a bad.
Fair enough. You're just friends. No, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think it's real. It's like Channing Tatum being like, here, let me show you how to pick up women. And you're like, why don't you shut the fuck up, dude, Channing? Like, shut up. It's almost like Michael Jordan having a course of like, here's how you can jump 45 inches also. No, you'd rather learn from Steve Nash than Michael Jordan because Steve Nash is 6'1" and he can't jump. You'd rather learn from him than Michael Jordan. He has these talents you just don't have. And I think you're kind of misappropriating that, thinking that other guys are just going to look like you. And it's not going to work like that. That's why I don't teach that.
But you do believe in looks maxing, though, I think, right?
Okay, looks maxing is fine. 16%.
Fair enough.
There's too many unattractive dudes I know with the baddest girls I've ever seen. Come out to Vegas and you'll see.
I definitely will in September.
Awesome. Cool. Joel, what's your question?
Yeah, just add on. You don't even need to like go to Vegas to see it. Like you can see it in college. Like some of the ugliest dudes ever get with the hottest chicks in sororities. It's like it doesn't really matter. Status is status. But my question was to Coco, like what's your end game? Like 10 years down the line, like do you still see yourself cold approaching, or do you want to like? Because like for me, like my thing is personally, like I think that my end game would be to kind of be like Mike in a way, just have like a cool social circle of friends and like girls and that kind of lifestyle. So like, do you see yourself just still cold approaching at nightclubs and stuff like that?
I mean, as you can tell, I'm fairly young. So for me, like right now, this suits my lifestyle. I like drinking. I like going on dating apps and whatnot. In 10 years, probably not. And I think,
hold on. Well, Coco, listen to yourself. You're a young dude who's good looking, telling other guys they should go out and do cold approach and just be good looking. Do you not see the irony? Does anyone else like it's? You look like Elon Musk going on Twitter telling everyone to buy Twitter. That's what you like. You're talking your book, dude. Like you're incredibly biased to your own viewpoint here. This is not going to work for other people. That's my point.
I mean, if you, it's. I think it boils down to whether you think it's genetic or not. But I think a lot of
let's just all just be black and good looking. Everybody, ready? 1, 2, 3. What do you not see the problem? Like, do you not understand the issue? What you're doing here? You're like, I'm teaching them how to build sales funnels, get rich, and get into fucking shape. You're telling them just look better. You not see the problem.
Yeah, but I think there's a big aspect to looks maxing apart from just the gym. I mean, the gym is
can I be real with you? I think you've done very little looks maxing. Very, very
I
little.
I think I've done a shit ton. Like you could.
I think you've done very, very. I think you are a good-looking guy with a symmetrical face who grew your hair out. You are not built like a fucking rhino. I think you have done. I have not seen you in a custom fit suit. I think you have done very, very little looks maxing.
I mean, I can
you're
send you pictures of me 2 years ago. I think I changed a lot.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I just feel like you can still be in better shape. I think I could show you guys who've done some extreme looks maxing and they've done a lot more than you. I think you're a good looking guy. And I think what happened is you got a little older and grew some facial hair and then grew your hair out. And like, that's not exactly looks maxing. And when other guys and you're going to have trouble as a coach if you think that other people are going to see it any differently.
I think I have helped a decent amount of guys looks max. I mean, I think it boils down to priorities. Like, do you think looks matter that much or not? If
I think looks matter maybe 10 to 15%, 16% maybe.
Right, I guess that's the fundamental argument. I think it matters 60 to 70%, maybe even 75%. Then I think you put in more effort into that. Yeah,
but Coco, the problem is I have guy friends who are less attracted than you that get hotter girls than you. That's the problem.
I completely agree.
That's why it can't be 60 or 70% then. By definition, it can't be.
Also,
it cannot be.
Also, guys just need to have like a nice shape up and brush your teeth. And like,
thank you, bro. Like you just need to be above a certain level. You just need to not be in looks poverty. If you're in the looks middle class, it doesn't really matter that much more. And here's the other thing that I think has happened for you, dude. I think because you're a certain type, you fit a certain archetype to women. That type of woman is extremely attracted to you, and you need very little game to get her because she's looking for guys like you. And you've misconstrued that for all women all the time. The women who are attracted to you just because of your looks are those small subset of women that are attracted to men just because of their looks. What happens is there's a bunch of girls that aren't attracted to men because of their looks, and those women don't approach you and you don't have any interaction with them, so you don't see them in your survey. And you think 60 or 70%, that's ridiculous. There's no study that shows that. There's so many studies on evolutionary psychology that show indefatigably that 60 or 70% of what a woman finds attractive about a man is his looks. It is definitely not. No. No.
It depends on the environment. Like if you're talking about Tinder, it's basically just looks, right? It's just
Tinder. Again, you are taking a subset of women who are looking to put dicks inside of that.
Also nightclubs.
That is a terrible example. Of course, women are more interested in looks on Tinder. Yes, because they're choosing short-term partners on Tinder. That's why.
Also nightclubs. I mean, nightclubs are purely looks, I think. At least
that's insanity, bro. That is fucking crazy. That is absolute fucking lunacy. Bro, you haven't even been to half the nightclubs I've been to. There's no way. The hottest dudes at night, the guys who get the hottest girls at nightclubs, they're never the best looking dudes. That is crazy that you're saying that. If I show you the boyfriends of the girls who win my bikini competitions, you'd be stunned. You are completely off base. No, you are not getting into good nightclubs. That's what it tells me. You are not getting into the high-end nightclubs in New York.
Yeah,
the looks have been paramount, even more so than game or status or access to tables. And
wow, he's saying looks are paramount more so than game. Now you are living
nightclubs. Yes.
No, absolutely not. Status is way more paramount in a nightclub than looks. It's not even close.
I mean, the question is, how do you define status?
You define status by how many girls do you get. You get more girls by having status than you do by just being good looking. You define status because you got invited on stage and you are with the cool people. Those guys get more girls than the good looking guys. It's not even close. It's 100 to 1 better for guys who are high status than good looking in a nightclub. 100 to 1. You are going to GA at mid-tier nightclubs in New York, and you're competing against other dudes who are not as good looking at you, and you've misconstrued that for being 70%. This idea that you think status or that you think looks are more important than status is absurd. The idea that you think looks are more important than money is delusional. Because the problem is you're just using your own examples. I can show you hundreds of examples where you're not correct. And I'm talking about the best nightclubs in the world. It's not even close. It's not even close. You are getting attraction from women, and you're confusing that with the whole world being like those women. They're not. You have a small subset of 1% of women that you're confusing with all women. Tinder is not that. Tinder is unattractive women who are going on there looking for short-term hookups, and you're conflating that with all women. It's not the case. Bro, that is crazy that you think that looks are more important than fucking money or status in a nightclub. That is bonkers.
I mean, girls have no idea of how much money you have, right? They don't have access to your bank account.
No, but they can see, your status by where you're sitting. They can see your status by where you're sitting and who you're with in the nightclub.
Me and my friend group do a lot better than most guys with tables and access to that sort of thing.
For sure,
right?
because you're good-looking guys. You're good-looking guys going up against guys with. You're right, because you're good-looking guys going up against guys with no game and tables. I didn't say anything about tables. You're still confused. I'm talking about in the fucking DJ booth with a bunch of other celebrities. Those guys do so much better than you. It's ridiculous. It's not even close. Bro, just come out here. Just come out here. I'm going to introduce you to the girls that are the hottest girls you've ever seen. And then I'm going to introduce you to your boyfriends and you're going to be like, wait, what? Wait, huh?
Also,
wait, I don't understand. I'm better looking than him.
You say your looks decent looking?
Huh?
I think these guys aren't decent looking.
They're not as good. They're not that good looking. They're not handsome.
And they met them at a nightclub environment where it's loud, it's like crowded.
Yes,
and all
because go back to step one.
Mike, we can't hear you. Mike,
because women introduced them, dude. Because women introduced them.
Another real quick, what are you gonna do when your looks fade? Because I mean, we're all gonna get old and shit, right? Like, what happens when that does?
So I do think it depends on the environment. Like at a party or like a social circle event, I completely agree with you. It's your status, your social clout. Who do you know? But at a loud, crowded nightclub or on Tinder, I do think the de facto thing most people go by it.
On Tinder, the de facto thing is your looks. At a nightclub, it is not. In general admission to an average nightclub, it is. To a high step, to when the chain smokers are playing at excess, it is not your looks. It is, can you get in the VIP? Where the attractive women are. If you came to the clubs where we were in Vegas, you couldn't even get to where I'm standing. You couldn't even get. You couldn't even get. No, it's like that. No, it's like that. When we were in Clay in Houston, there was a VIP that you and I were at for a birthday party. You don't remember that?
I mean, I guess, but it's not really as big of a deal because it's only one little section.
But the prettiest girls were in that section, and most guys can't get to those girls. You wouldn't even be able to get to the prettiest girls if you went to the nightclubs we went to. You're not going to find them in GA. Also, those girls are going to come with you to the nightclub because you can get them into the VIP. That status overlooks any day, dude. Any day. It's not even close. It's not even close. It's 100 to 1. I will introduce you to dudes who all they do is give wristbands to the girls to go on stage. And these guys have been with hundreds and hundreds of beautiful women just because they have access. 100 to 1. It's more important for status than looks. It feels like you're a black pill doomer, but you happen to be good looking. That's what that's what you feel like. You're a black pill doomer, but you happen to be good looking. That's what you sound like.
So you're saying like an ugly dude who's obese and overweight, doesn't know how to dress with access to VIP, does better than a good looking guy with no access to VIP. And
yes. Sort of in Vegas, 100%. But also him not knowing how to dress is something different. That's something different. He can learn how to dress. That's fine. But how overweight is he? If he's super overweight, that's going to count against him. But if he's super overweight and he's the DJ, then he's not going to have a problem.
Right. If you have extreme status like the DJ, you're actual celebrity, sure. But I'm saying if you just have access to VIP, and really
you're gonna keep bringing up extreme examples, and I'm gonna just take you out sometime and show you average looking dudes with stunning women in up next to stage one at excess, and you're like, holy shit, okay, I see. None of these guys are good looking. None of them are good looking.
It's because they had access to VIP.
Dude, and how do you get access to VIP? You're almost there. You're almost come full circle.
Hot woman, dude. Hot woman.
How do you get access to VIP? You get there through status. Yes. You're almost there, bro.
You're saying they met these girls because they have access to VIP. That's the only reason.
Oh my God.
There could be
more.
15
paragraphs. Someone constantly tries to degrade and discredit. Hey, comma, you have made videos for the last 5 days trying to discredit. Hey, comma, you have for the last 5 days tried to make videos to degrade and discredit me, period. So possibly you should look in the mirror first, period.
We'll be right back after these commercials.
It's so ridiculous. Anyway, I can't go on for this very long. We got to get off here pretty soon. Dax, what's your question?
Hey, Michael, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't have my camera on with someone, but so just to make it real quick, so the thing that got me listening to you a lot was status is status is status. No, I'm a DJ, but I'm not prolific. I'm not legendary. I get it, but I basically had an idea for a crypto integration service, right? So call business or club or a bar or whatever, it's offer to set it up as payment. There's multiple advantages to doing so, and I'm wondering if I could, set up. Here's the problem: I don't know how to reach out to, because I feel like people who own these nice businesses or these nice clubs, they're not on Instagram and they don't care that I can mix or something like that. So I'm trying to figure out how I can frame my personal brand to kind of fit that. Like doing nightlife, for example, promoters are like, we'll do nightlife and we do real estate. I'm thinking doing like nightlife, but then also doing like, hey, if you want your business, your brand or your bar, or your club or your whatever restaurant to accept crypto, contact me or DM. It doesn't exist yet because there's no such thing yet, but like, how does that sound to you? Am I muted?
Sorry, one more time. Say the last part again.
Okay, in 2 sentences, setting up my brand or my personal brand to basically be a complement to a crypto integration service. So calling a brand or business, mainly a bar or club.
Dax, I want to help you with this. Have you not noticed this is the 5th different idea you've come to me on 5 different calls? Have you noticed that?
Oh, 100%. No, 100%. It's not even an idea of executing. It's just a suggestion. It's just kind of like a thing that I'm suggesting. It's like
I'm just confused though, because if I give you the answer to this, then next week you're going to tell me about a Forex product that you want to help use influencers to like, and then the next week it's going to be an OnlyFans management aid. Like the dude, all of the status that you want to build, it's from the same thing. Do you remember where's the superhero videos that we're supposed to do? Did you ever do those? My issue is you keep analyzing what you're supposed to do and not doing the thing. Dax, pick a thing and do it. I don't even want to answer this. I want you to pick a thing and do it. Then once you have some success or non-success, then come back and then ask the question. But you keep moving the goalposts every time we talk. It doesn't matter what my answer is. You're just going to like come back in a couple of weeks and be like, is there a new thing that we can do? Can I do a fitness page about superheroes? Do you not remember that?
No, of course. I didn't say I didn't remember.
Right. My point is, what action did you take on the previous idea? Can you show me the action you took? If you're not taking action, then me giving you an answer to this isn't going to help either one of us.
Yeah, I mean, I just post more videos on a consistent basis. I mean, I didn't really on it, like just the same setup been posted. I haven't changed up, but I mean, I think, but that's pretty much why I was asking. I'm just like, I just kind of have like a universal, not really a universal, but I'm just trying to push momentum in one direction. But it kind of seems like these ideas that I have that they don't really, because you're telling me about it, it's like it was kind of a dumb idea. I'm like, yeah, it probably is.
No, never said it was a dumb idea. What I said was you didn't do anything. What I said was this is the 4th or 5th idea you've come up with. And you come on the call and you bounce the ideas off of us. And the thing is, just idea 1, 2, and 3, what extreme action did you take first? And then the answer is going to be better coming from you because you took action than me trying to tell you how to optimize it for the next thing that you're trying to do. Because I'm telling you from the pattern I've seen so far, 5 times, Dax, is that you're going to come back in 2 weeks or 4 weeks and then ask me another question for another idea you have instead of taking action on the current idea. It always feels like the grass is greener for you. Like there's another thing that's going to be better down the line. Take action on the thing you're doing now. Don't try to find solace in a better idea. Execute the idea, and then while you're executing it, then find solace when you change the idea. Having a large social media following would be great. Don't try to optimize it for anything. Just get it bigger, get more engagement. Then you can pivot that following into anything you want, instead of asking me how to optimize it for one certain specific thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
So go back one more time. What was the thing you wanted? I'm going to give you an answer and we're going to hold you accountable just so we know 100%. Okay. Do you remember that time we had Sam McGregor on here and we'd asked Sam several times, Sam, get your testosterone check, get it check. He goes, yeah, I'll do it later. And then after the 3rd time, we're like, Sam, we're not going to let you ask any more questions until you get your testosterone check. Haven't heard from Sam since. So I'm going to ask you, you're going to ask me a question. I'm going to give you an answer, and don't come back on here and ask another question about another idea until you took action on the first one. Do you understand? You taking action is more important than any advice that I could give you.
I understand.
Okay. So what is it that you want me to optimize?
crypto, just basically calling businesses to offer them to set up crypto as a business. Do you think that's a good idea, bad idea?
Personally, I don't think it's a good idea. You're going into an incredibly flooded space, like
really?
unimaginably flooded. Yes, any crypto, anything. Yeah. What I would do instead is if crypto is something that you have an expertise or an interest in, spend 6 months studying it and then start your own podcast or start making clips about it on your channel regularly, and then use them. Then say like, today we're sponsored by so-and-so. Make sense?
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I'd become a subject matter expertise in this particular field first. Dax, I don't know if you are a subject matter expertise in crypto. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. I don't know. Okay. So if you're not, then the answer is then become a subject matter expertise first. Now in 2 weeks, don't come back and say, now I'm into Forex. What did you do to become a subject matter expertise in crypto? It is more important that you take action than you have the right idea. Okay. It is better to have 5 people doing the wrong thing in unison than to have 5 people doing the right thing all separate. Be on the same page with the other people that you want to work with. The way you do that is becoming a subject matter expert.
Understood.
Got it? There's no way to optimize. Crypto is so old now. I know it's so crazy. You guys don't realize it. 2009. It's 14 years old.
Yeah, that's pretty
Crypto
wild.
is so fucking old now. It's so old now. And you guys are like still acting like it's cutting edge shit. It's not. It's so completely flooded. That space is so flooded now. So if you want to do it, you need to have a competitive advantage. And you don't even really understand crypto. So no, I would not say it's a great idea. Got it?
Understood.
My point is not to shit on your ideas, Dax. My point is, did you take action? That's all my point is. Got it?
Gotcha.
Gracio, what's your question?
Yeah, so earlier this week, I posted on our school group. I asked people to give feedback on my IG because now I'm about to reach to models and photographers to start throwing a photo shoot, to start to throw photo shoots. And the feedback was kind of 50-50. Some people said that the pictures were amazing. Others said that they looked like shit. So I would like to have like your take on it. Could you?
Who are the people who said it looked like shit?
Well,
was it like your ex-girlfriend and your aunt?
No, I'm talking about the school group.
Okay, so
the people
where
on
is
the
it?
group. It is
Okay.
Graco, GRACOSIG. GRACOSIG. And it is all together. It is the first one there. Yes.
All right, which one is it?
Well, this is my IG. Exactly.
Your IG is fine.
So
somebody thinks your IG looks like shit?
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
Who said specifically? Give me the name of the person who said your IG.
Well, I can give it there.
Huh?
Well, I don't have the school group open here, but I can give you the name, no problem.
Did a networking coach say that your IG looks like shit? This is confusing.
No,
me.
not networking.
Then don't,
coach.
don't listen. Your IG is totally fine.
Cool. So that's good enough to start inviting people, right?
100%. Yes, this looks
great.
great.
Looks good. Great. Looks good, dude. I started a podcast as well. So this video that you see there.
Please screenshot and tell me who told you that your IG looks like shit. Please screenshot it and send it to me. Okay.
I can do it. No problem.
Make sure it's not.
So
one of my
now that
coaches.
I can. Great. So now that it looks good in your opinion, my next question is, how should I DM photographers to start to build a content team? Because I know how to take pictures, as you can see, at least minimally well, but I want to actually work as a connector, connecting models to photographers, not necessarily doing the photography myself. At least that's my ideal situation. So I want to connect photographers to models, but I need to DM photographers first before going to the models because I don't have any photographers available at the moment. So how should I contact them if I do not have, for instance, irrefutable visual evidence on my IG yet to showcase that I have models to connect them?
Oh, you can borrow IV. Are you in MOA right now, Gracio?
No.
Might be a little difficult. You could ask some guys on the forum if they'll let you borrow some of theirs, like to look like what a photo shoot is. You could ask them for it.
I thought about it.
No, that's what we do. If a guy's starting off and we know what the photo shoot's supposed to be like, you can use other people's stuff as long as you ask them for their permission. That's cool. One thing you can do to get
Anthony Dorico on Instagram.
Yeah, there you go. DM Anthony Dorico. There you go, Gracio.
Who?
Anthony
Anthony
DeRico.
P.
Anthony
DeRico.
DeRico. Anthony DeRico. DeRico. Anthony.
DeRico. Okay. Oh, I talked to this guy. I talked to him already.
Great.
And just a final observation here. I think that we could create an engagement group for people who are starting out their IGs as well.
Yeah, we've done this several times. What will happen is a few people will do the engagement and the other people will ask for engagement and they fall apart all the time. You're welcome to try it if you want. I don't want to be responsible for it.
Oh, so great.
Yeah,
so
you're gonna have
right?
Yeah, you're going to start having leechers like crazy, just more and more leechers. And then it's going to be like an all day thing for you to go and check to see if everyone posted on commented on everyone else's story. And then you're gonna have to remove the leechers and it becomes like an 8-hour a day process.
Got it. But
That's why these engagement groups
if
don't
it's
really
cool
work.
for you,
Go for it. Gracio, I don't have a problem with it at all.
Great.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's try to, I got to knock this out, guys. Hold on. Let's do last two. SB, what's your question?
Oh, hi, Michael.
Hey.
So my question is, do I have to tell guys I'm just looking for friendship to build a social circle of like 6 feet guys? Because I remember one of your videos you mentioned.
Wait, you only wanted guys who were 6 feet tall. I remember having you on. Yes.
It's 6 feet tall. Yeah. So that's what I was wondering. Do I have to tell them I'm looking for friendship in order to build a social circle of guys?
So the problem is if you do that, you're going to get a lot of fucking pushback. Like you're going to get a lot of hate.
Mm-hmm.
Like even as me, as a guy who's over 6 feet tall, like the fact that women are so fucking bigoted against short men really bothers me. Yeah, like it really fucking bothers me. Like I have an issue with it. Why does it matter so much to you? I'm just curious.
No. What I mean is like, for you, it's right. Female models. For me, it's male models.
Okay, but male models don't all have to be 6 feet tall.
I've seen on Instagrams, like the gay photographers usually end up with like a social circle of guys that they've shot. Whereas me, I'm giving value with their images, but I haven't really built friendship in order to build a social circle out of.
You're a girl. You don't really need to worry about building friendship. Like girls have it way easier than us. It's just you ask a bunch of dudes to come do a shoot with you. They're going to say yes or no. But like, as far as do you tell them they have
doesn't
to be
work for girls like the way it does for guys.
No one's gonna care. I would just ask them, but I really wouldn't obsess that much over like them all being 6 feet tall. I think it's a little shallow. There's a lot of really good looking guys that are models. Like Grego Gallagher is not 6 feet tall and he's pretty handsome. Same thing with fucking what's his face? How to Beast. There's a lot of them. Yeah, I really don't think that's a big issue.
Okay.
Yeah, most good looking guys aren't 6 feet tall because most guys are only 14% of guys are 6 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. This is a tough one for me. I think if you come out and you just say that, you're going to get a lot of hate. You might. Who knows? They might make an article about you on No Jumper. Modeling agency only looks for men who are 6 feet tall.
Maybe I phrased it wrong. So basically, what I would like is more like friendships rather than just.
Yeah. So that doesn't. So it's almost like saying like me saying I want friendships with Kylie because she has big tits. It doesn't. It's the most shallow friendship I've ever heard of in my life.
Uh-huh.
Being friends with people because they're good at chess or because they have a high IQ or because you play a similar video games, that's fine. Being friends with people just because they're really good looking, it's a bit shallow. It's like being friends with your Coke dealer. You're not really friends.
I want to know how tall are you?
I'm 5 feet tall.
There you go. That's incredible. That's no double standard at all. SB, I would maybe consider not just being that shallow about it.
Okay.
Okay. Especially if they're just your friends. Okay. If you're saying, hey, I want to film a gangbang scene for Pornhub and I want all the guys to be 6 feet tall. Okay, baby. But not just to be your friends. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. All right. Okay. Raj, last question. What's your question?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm fucking outside. It's dark in Queens. But just the quick question on finance, the finance industry. So, Mike, as you know, I'm working at a big bank and stuff, but I guess what is the best career that you would say in finance in the long term would give you the most skill set when it comes to business as well as make you the most money?
Sales. And I know that's not directly in finance. The answer is sales. the best guys in finance, like the ones who run hedge funds, the number one skill they're looking for is getting assets under management. They're not looking for traders. Sales, followed by sales, and then third would be sales.
Right. Yeah, I figured because I know the.
Hey, Raj, which part of Queens are you in about to buy some crack?
I'm right next to JFK.
He's selling crack,
like
bro.
The best part.
Selling the crack.
Oh, he's selling crack. He's selling crack. My
The
bad.
best part. Yeah.
The best part.
Big style.
Yeah, you're out there. So,
I was gonna
hey,
say,
Bed-Stuy till we die. Is that where you're at?
No, it's do or die, Bed-Stuy.
Yeah.
That's the actual phrase. But I was gonna say that I know there's a lot of good traders out here and stuff, but you would say that the number one skill in finance is raising capital, right?
What?
You
Raising
would say that
capital is the
number
most
one
important
skill
thing.
in
Yeah.
finance-
Yeah. Number one skill in finance is raising capital. Yes. This whole thing, whether there's some sort of technical analysis algorithm that makes you money, no. The number one skill in finance is raising capital. Period.
Right. Got it. Yeah, I figured. Okay, I mean, I guess I'll just fucking keep on working on the scales.
You want to maybe send us your location so we can send an ambulance?
Don't worry, bro. This is my home ground, bro. Like, people gotta call the ambulance on me, though. Don't worry about it. I'm safe out here.
He gets shot the next
Yeah.
time.
All right, man.
All right, bro.
Hey,
Thank you,
Sean,
Mike.
you're correct, but there's a bunch of guys who with no track record who have huge funds that are coming out. So I agree with you that it's one of the things that can help, but it's not the only thing. George, last question. What is it?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah. What's up? I was looking at on the videos last week. I'm not sure if it was in week 7. I'm not sure if it was club promoter and host or table game and maps, but you had a kind of a statement that you said that when you go to like a new place, if you walk in and you say, hey, it's me and these 4 girls, if they don't comp you a table or anything, you're just saying, hey, look, let's just leave and we'll walk away. If you really do walk away and they just don't call your bluff or whatever, what the hell do you do with the girls? You literally just find
Yeah,
another place
I
to
would
go
have,
to?
yeah, it's funny. I would have plan A, plan B, plan C. So for me, it would be, go to the first club, go to a restaurant, go to fucking Top Golf. There'd be plan A, plan B, plan C. Yeah,
Okay.
but I will tell you this, George, the point of what I was saying is if you're with a group of 4 girls and the girl goes up and talks to the door guy is going to say, those 4 girls can come in, but that guy can't. If you
Of
go
course,
up as
so
a
it'd be
man
me.
and you say, I got me and these 4 girls, then all 5 of you get in. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
That was the point of my
All right.
statement.
All right, perfect. And one more
Awesome.
thing I wanted to ask you. When you go to, let's say, a new place or something like that, do you tip on the way in, or how do you
not.
go about tipping? You
I do
never
not.
tip?
No. The only time what we tip is I tip when I get bottle service and if a guy that I got a guy in, he should tip maybe on the way out or on the way in.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right, perfect. All right, thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
brother.
it.
Trans Sean. What's your?
Yeah, sorry, I was setting up my thing. Give me one sec. But yeah,
Okay.
the question that I had was something that you already talked about a while back, and I just was wondering if you could elaborate. You said that intent doesn't get you with girls. It's
Women do
your
not sleep with you
status,
because
right?
of your intent. They sleep with you because of your
Exactly.
status. Yes. Looks are a form
Okay,
of status.
yeah.
They do not sleep with you because attractive women know that you want to sleep with them. This whole thing of showing intent is a misnomer that pickup has been describing for a long time. What's happened is you met a desperate or horny woman at a club and you showed intent and she was going to go home with someone. So she chose you because you were the most convenient option. She did not have sex with you because of your intent. She had sex with you because of your status or your relative status, meaning she had very low status or she was feeling very low about herself and wanted validation through sex. So you got easy sex because of it, but it wasn't because of your intent. It was because of your relative status to her. Yes, I stand by that.
Okay, so the question is then, is that the only reason that pickup works? Or to generalize a little bit, why does pickup work then? Or if
I don't
believe so,
think
why?
I don't think pickup works. I think a lot of guys are going out there and approaching a lot of women and they bump into, especially on Tinder, they're bumping into women that are like not like don't have a lot of guards up that are not super picky and they're sleeping with them and they're confusing that for pickup working. I think pickup works in that it gets you to go out on a regular basis. Yes. And pickup works in that you're probably better with women because you're around women more than not being around women. Yes. But as far as like pickup thinks pickup is a 99 and pickup is more like a 40 on a scale. Pickup is like, there's a lot of guys who pick women up, spin them around and then have sex with, well, not a lot, very few actually. But they'll pick a girl up, they'll spin them around and on a YouTube video, and then they'll put them down and they'll sleep with them. And my point is, she slept with you in spite of the fact you picked her up, not because of it. She was just so desperate that she picked you up, that she went home with you. Pick up on a regular basis, going up to strange women on a regular basis to try to have sex with attractive strange women does not work in any efficient manner whatsoever. It doesn't. And I have been around every single one of these guys, and I can tell you it doesn't work. The cope is either it works and they start, I hate to say this because I don't like to judge women like this. They're sleeping with 5s, but tell you they're 10s, or even better, they're posting infield videos where they blur out the girls' faces so you can't see what she looks like. And they're making you think that what they're doing is working, and it's not working. It's not. Or you have guys like Coco who are like good looking dudes who they bump into women that are their type, like artsy girls, maybe, who really like dudes who are, you know, African-American. And he's confusing that for game. It's not game. It's that he's a good looking dude who put himself in the same situation over and over again by going out all the time. Is that pickup? Yes. But are you improving your game? Not really. Not really.
So
improving your game is learning how to break rapport through comedy, pre-selection, through status and FOMO. That's actual game. Game is also like being a connector, suggester, content creator. That's actual game. We teach real game in MOA. We don't call it game because it's part of networking, but that's what real game looks like. What's happened is these guys, what they'll do is like they're getting like a 2% success rate, and they're confusing that for success with pickup.
Do you think that's the same all across the board?
Yes. I don't know. There's no pickup artist I've ever met in my life where I was like, damn, that guy's really good at getting hot girls. I've never met one. I'm not trying to talk shit, but like compared to guys, and what I'm comparing him to is not even myself. I'm comparing him to guys that I know in Vegas who get a lot of girls, and guys that I know who live in Los Angeles who get a lot of girls, and pickup artists don't compare to them. None of them. None of them compared to those guys.
So is that the main reason you're saying that pickup in general works for these guys is because of volume, because they just approach tons of girls and eventually you're going to find one of them?
Of all the things, volume is definitely number one. Yes.
Okay. And then the second reason why it would work would just be
by the way, you're using Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. Your selection bias is specifically for women looking for sex. Do you not see that?
I'm talking about in general, night game. I'm talking about like in general,
okay, yeah,
bars,
sure, night game, yeah,
clubs, stuff like that. Not online dating. Generally, if you go to bars, clubs, not clubs, but let's say bars, lounges, stuff like that, where you go out to meet people. In that case, you're saying that it mostly works through volume and finding the right type of person. Then
find the right type of person? No, these guys are going out and doing cold approach, not looking for the right type of person. They're looking for a girl who will have sex with them.
Exactly. That's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about, where you said when I said the right type of person, I meant the girl who's desperate enough or horny enough or needs validation enough.
Right. That's cold approach. But do you think that's game?
I think that there, for some situations, there is some game involved, but not for those types of women.
Yeah. But that's mostly who they're sleeping with by far. That's mostly, again, Trans, what would happen is I would know a bunch of attractive women who told me a guy came up to them during cold approach and slept with them, and it just doesn't happen. So you're looking at it from the standpoint of what pickup artists might be saying to you, that some of it's true and some of it's not. And I'm telling you what women, I'm at these events with these women and I'm seeing who they're going home with, and it's not through cold approach. So you think you know one thing, and I definitely know a different thing.
So the main thing that I'm trying to figure out is, in this case, right? Like, why does cold approach in general work then?
Right? I don't think it works. For the fourth time, I don't think it works at all. Yeah, I don't think it works. I think it works as well as, like, I need a jackhammer to break up some concrete, but instead of a jackhammer, I bang on it with a regular hammer for 100 years and eventually break it apart. Did it work? Yes, it worked. It was unfathomably ineffective, though, like inefficient.
Yeah, that works too. Yeah, that makes sense. So
yeah,
in general, it's
yeah, it's like
less
you're asking like,
inefficient.
why does communism work? And the answer is it doesn't work. Yeah, I don't. If you're coming to me for like some explanation of why pickup worked, pickup was desperate men looking for something to like try to help them in the early aughts, and they came together and tried these techniques. And a lot of these guys were not super empathetic individuals, and they came up with these techniques, and they just went out a lot. And the trick is they just went out a lot, and that's what worked for them. Are you trying to decide, Trans? Is that what's going on? You're trying to decide between social circle?
No, because no. So the reason why I was asking this is because you said that you have experience with pickup and you have experience with social circle, right? So
yeah. And
you
quickly after I got
involved,
with pickup, I met some club promoters who were sleeping with 100 times more women than pickup artists were, and way hotter. And they would go out to clubs and they'd have 50 girls with them. And it was very clear to me. I stopped listening to pickup artists and started listening to those guys.
Yeah. So you've established why social circle works, and that makes sense. And, I understand that part, right? But on the other hand, you have a method that's, inefficient, as you said, right? But even though it is inefficient, there is some reason why it works. Even if it is like really, really bad, there's
volume,
there are some
volume,
tiny
volume
results.
Yeah. You're
Okay.
outside of your house instead of inside of your house. There you go. Volume.
Okay. Makes sense.
Dude, I know some pickup coaches that have like helped guys a lot. The reason why they helped them is because the guys got over their approach anxiety from going out so much. That does work. I'm not telling you that doesn't work. For sure that works. It's just not an efficient way to get the goals that they want.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. The reason why I was asking this is because also there are some again, I don't know what the full details are, but obviously you can learn some things from pickup, and you also said you've learned a lot from pickup as well, right? So I'm trying to figure out like how do you filter out all of the things that are useful in pickup and also apply the stuff from social circle.
I looked at guys who were good with women, and then I looked at guys who were doing pickup, and they weren't the same guys. That's actually the answer to your question.
Okay.
So when you're like, what are the parts that I keep? Well, the parts I keep was going out every night when you don't know anybody in the city. That was good. That worked. Then I looked at the guys who were really good with women, and I saw the things they weren't doing that pickup guys were doing. They didn't hit on girls. They didn't have to. They just created these incredible moments of FOMO where everyone wanted to be where they were. And their success with women and more attractive women was so much greater than pickup artists. I stopped listening to pickup artists. To be honest with you, Trans, like did I learn some good things from it back in 2003? Yes, because there was no social circle game back in 2003, 2005. There was no social. So that's why I learned this stuff. I learned it and then I moved on. The point of welfare, of getting a welfare check, is to get off of welfare. It's not to stay on welfare. The point of pickup is to like move past it, to get better with women. So then you go, pickup is kindergarten, and then you move to the next grade. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that definitely makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Pickup is a wheelbarrow. Cold approach, a social circle is a Lamborghini. Okay.
Mm-hmm. The main thing is just figuring out how to get to the wheel, from the wheelbarrow to the Lamborghini.
No, it's not. It's you're doing it now, Trans. This is what MOA is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there's 500 guys. Go ahead, Raj. Talk to them.
Yeah, I was gonna say that last month, me and our team here in New York threw a party at a restaurant. We had a bunch of girls and stuff, and then it was a ticketed event, so guys did have to pay to get in the door. But we had like so many girls there, and like obviously the girls felt most comfortable with us because they already knew us. But there was literally a prominent coach who used to, let's just say he's from Australia, and he was doing a boot camp in our venue at our party, and they paid to get into our situation. And you know what? None of them were even approaching girls. So that's or they were getting negative feedback. So that just shows like it almost came full circle for us. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. If you want to get laid, go to a boot camp, and all the guys are just creepy to all the girls, and you're just like, wow, yeah, interesting. Oh, that dude just came up and touched you. Oh, interesting. And the girls will just come to you, because when they're surrounded by betas, they go to alphas. It's the way the world works.
Hey, Trans, I'm going to tell you something else. This is one of the scummiest things I ever did.
Okay.
Let me tell you guys, this is one of the scummiest things I've ever done, and I'll admit this. Yeah, that was exactly right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Trans, this is, hold on. Trans, this is one of the creepiest things. Can you guys hear me? Hold on. Is Luke there? Luke, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you. Yeah. What?
Wait, what's going on? Guys, somebody turn off your, hold on. All right. Trans, I used, like what he said, I used to go to pick up boot camps specifically because I knew those guys were going to creep out women so much that women would just start approaching me at the bar, and they always do. Because there's just around so many creepy beta males. If you guys really want a fucking cheat code on how to pick up a lot of girls quick, just go to a pickup boot camp. The coaches will tell you the same thing. The RSD coaches will tell you the same thing. They would go to a boot camp, and the guys were so weird that they'd end up meeting women easily while on boot camp. When women are surrounded by beta, they crave alpha. That's what happens. Got it?
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. That definitely
Love it. Last one, dude. SMA Awad.
Aswad.
That's what's going on, man.
What's going on? So I was about to ask, like, you got a job as a quant, right? So how did you manage to do that? Like, can you hear me properly?
Yeah, well, I missed the third word. Events with who?
Like, no. Like, you work as a quant, right? So, like,
quant, dude, a quant. You're events with quant. No, being a quant has nothing to do with events. Go ahead.
Okay, no. Like, how did you manage to do that? Like, as far as I know, like, you got the job as a quant because of your social circles. Like, how did you manage to do that?
Sort of. So I had to still have the skill set. I got my job as a quant because I messaged Tony Batista at Tasty Trade about something, and he started messaging me back about some stuff that I was doing on Twitter. And I said, hey man, can I come by and do a bootstrapping segment and a rising star segment? And they said, yes. So I did that a couple of years, and I told them my trading, I sell put spreads. Okay. What in the world? Meeting is now streaming on live stream. It never stopped. Anyway, that was my trading style. So what happened was those guys have way more connections in that arena than I do. Okay. And when a guy hit them up and be like, Tom, I'm looking for someone to trade this specific way. Oh, I know your guy. He specifically trades that specific way. And they introduced me to them. They look at my social media and they're like, this guy's around way too many girls. This doesn't seem right. They had one meeting with me and I went over exactly what my trading strategy was. And they were so blown away, they hired me immediately because I was over prepared. When it comes to this style of trading, I'm as good as anyone in the world at this. This one minuscule side of trading that deals with put spreads. I'm really good at this. And so because I specialize in this one thing that I was good at, once they were looking for someone to do that style of trading, they asked me to do it.
Okay, I totally understand. Like for someone who's starting out in the industry, like what do you suggest them to do?
I would specialize in a type of trading that not everyone's doing. That would be one thing. But the other thing is like just, dude, unfortunately, I'm going to tell you this, man. The number one thing you need to know in trading is acquiring assets under management. If I would take 10 guys who can get people to invest in my company for every one guy who thinks he's a master trader.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
Just trading does not make you valuable. It really doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay, thanks.
Awesome, guys. I got to go. Thanks for the 3 hours and 17 minutes. Really impressed. Thank you guys for all joining on. The other thing that's awesome is that we're, just about a little under 200 people watching on YouTube. It grew over time. So I want to say thank you guys. Thank you for the growth. I'm probably going to hit 50K subs here in like a couple of minutes, it looks like. Make sure you subscribe to me on YouTube if you guys are not already doing that, please. There's a bunch of other stuff we do besides these Monday calls. All the guys that are new who have not been on these calls before, put a 1 in the chat. If this is your first time on one of these calls, put a 1 in the chat real quick for me. Can you guys do that? Thank you. I love it. All right, guys, for those of you who are new, who are just because we're doing a special just for the Monday call, if you guys are interested in learning more about Men of Action, check out that link right there. That's one that we do just for the Monday call. If you just set up a call, it doesn't mean you have to buy the program. Do that. All of you, though, have to be on the school server. No fucking excuses. Every one of you needs to be on our free school server. Absolutely, under no circumstance can any of you. Everything on there is free. Everything we talked about during this program is on that server. All of you have to be on that server. There is no excuse to not be on there. And that way you guys can learn as much as you want. I'm not interested. If you're not ready to join Men of Action, I'm not trying to get you in there. By the way, there's the school server right there. And Fosado's showing his, by the way, those are affiliate codes. If you have a guy on the program you like more than the other, then click his affiliate code so he can get paid. Guys, make sure you sign up or make sure all of you need to join school.com/men of action. All of you need to join that. We update stuff all the time. So all the Access Vegas episodes, there'll be something for that. All of the Instagram testimonials will be on there. The book list will be on there. All the polls that we do will be on there. All the links to all the website episodes of the podcast will be on there, and all the other live streams will be on there, and the book list. All of that stuff will be on there. So make sure you guys join the school server now, and I will see all of you in 2 weeks.